With Irish Joe. With Irish Joe. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean the? It's a poison. I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing. Doing a damn thing. The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome. Oh, man, I'm getting my voice back. It's been a long week and a half of content. I'm finally getting my voice back. And you know what else, you guys? It's Friday night. Notre Dame plays a football game tomorrow. And we should all be glad about that. And I know I am. Ready to turn that page, baby. Let's get this game going. Okay? This week flew by. I cannot believe it's Friday. I literally cannot believe it's Friday already. It has been the most bizarre week of all bizarre weeks. Notre Dame plays tomorrow, and that's a good thing. Okay, that's a good thing. Eric says, John, where's your Miami disco chain? It's right here. However, I only wear it after a win. It's the right thing to do. So the chain is always going to be here, but I have made the executive decision that I don't feel comfortable wearing it unless things are going good. So whenever Notre Dame wins, I pull out the chain. And the offseason, there's no losses in the offseason. That's a win. But the chain only comes out after wins. As long as we're winning, I wear the chain for everything I do. And if we're not, I don't. It's the right thing to do. I don't get to be flashy and wear an Irish chain when we're losing games. No, I don't feel comfortable with that. Okay? So as much as I love and appreciate Mark with glasses for bestowing me that beautiful chain at the tailgate, I'm not wearing it unless we win. It's the right thing to do. So I'm glad I addressed that. So let's get into this. I'm feeling a lot better today, you guys. I'm feeling a lot better today. So let's get through the introduction, then I'll explain to you what I mean in a second, okay? Weird week, odd week, bizarre week, horrible week. But tomorrow that's going to change. Thank you for being here as always. Oh, geez. You guys aren't even going to let me get through the intro. John, where is the Ohio State hat? In case any of you missed it. I see the callers. I'm going to go to you. You guys deserve time. I have not been able to get to everybody that's wanted to call this week. It's been the volume's too high because there's a lot going on. I will get to your calls. Okay. I'll go right to you. I promise. Somebody asked, where's the Ohio State hat? In case you missed it, I made a bet with the Ohio State guys that I did a show with last week. And the loser has to either I send them an Always Irish hat and they have to wear it on a live stream. And if we lost, they're going to send me a Woody hat for Ohio State and I have to wear that. We lost and I'm a man of honor. I sent the guys my email or my address via email. And whenever that comes, I'm going to do a live stream with an Ohio State Woody A's hat on. And here's how I'm going to get through that without stroking out on the air is I am going to try and turn it into content and it's going to bug me the whole show and it'll be entertaining. But I'm a man of my honor and I lost the bet by an inch and it is what it is. So that's the answer to that. Okay. I can't say I'm going to do a bet and then it ends bad for me. And then even though the circumstances are weird, I'm not doing that. So as soon as it comes, I'm going to wear it. Okay. The store should be up in literal days, like days. I'm in the final testing phase. It should be linked through YouTube or whatever, and I'll make it live. So we're coming around. Oh man, dude, I have no idea who you are and why you're here. Pricks money. Well, you're right about the first part of your name. Y'all in depression. Y'all talked all last week. I hope Duke whoop on y'all. I hope you go back to grammar school is the first thing. Secondly, it is readily apparent to me, pricked, that you didn't pay attention to any of my writings and you didn't watch my show at all last week. Because if you did, you would know that at no point in any of my material, written or verbal, did I disparage Ohio State at all in any way. My entire messaging through my USA Today writing contract and my program here, the entire message was, we respect how great their athletes are, but we think we can hang with them in a way we haven't before. And we think Notre Dame has a really good shot to win with this new quarterback. All of my writings, all of my YouTube content are consistent. That was the messaging. In no way did I say they're not good, we're going to kill them, they're overrated. You will never hear that from me, prick. So that's on you. That's on you. You exposed yourself. You did no research. You didn't look at what I wrote. You didn't go back and look what I said. You're just going off because you want to go off. So, yeah, I am in depression. But you jumping in here with nonsense that's inaccurate is quite absurd. So thanks for adding me a view, though, prick. Appreciate that. Let's do a couple super chats. Hey, I'm not being mean. It's the guy's name. Homer, $20 holler. Thank you, sir. And I see you on the line. You'll be coming up. So let me get these. These fine people are donating. We got this. 484 D Daily, thanks for the $20 holler. And Nikki Dean likes to be heard and seen, and he's got 3 main points tonight. Gotcha. You guys will be the first 3 up, and then we have some others after that. Appreciate it. All right, let me get through the introduction. I got a couple bullet points, and I'm going to hand it over to you guys, okay? And I am noticing, look at this. Look at this. We own you. 2-0. Notre Dame Archokes. Let's go. Bro, you have a grammar issue and it's bothering me. Tighten it up. It's bugging me. Thank you for being here. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Hey, Pricks Money. Hit subscribe if you're here. Why not? Give the video, then you'll know when to troll me. Have notifications on, and every time I post an episode, you'll be there first thing to troll me. How about that? Twitter, search bar, Always Irish Rat. Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishindy@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it to call-in lines. 312-988-15. Thank you, Pricks Money. If you're going to troll me, at least give me a sub. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. At least you're doing your role, man. Thank you. Call in line 312-988-15. Give me a call. Tell me all you heard and seen. Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. Always Irish Inc. USA Today Fighting Irish Wire. I don't know if you guys know this. I wrote an article that published in my the USA Today website about the call-in show right after the Ohio State game. It's very, very interesting. And I was in a weird mind space at about 3 a.m. Saturday night into Sunday. Sleeping wasn't going to happen. It just wasn't in the cards Saturday night. And after the call, that wasn't going to happen. I was up, all worked up. And I wrote an article about the pain of that call-in show. And about all of us just kind of uniting around that and being together for that and what a family feel it is and how much all of you guys care about this and we're all on the same page. Go check it out at USA Today Fighting Irish Wire. I might actually do a episode showing that just so you guys could see what I wrote about this community because it means a lot to me. Okay, check it out. You guys are funny. I'm not even. I don't let it bother me anymore, man. It's been a long week with a lot of hate mail and everything else. I just take the traffic, man. Take the traffic. It comes with the territory. When you do what I do and you do it the way I do, when some bad happens, you can expect to get hammered. And I knew we would, and it happened. Okay. And so we got nailed. I got nailed all week. It's been rough, but whatever. It is what it is. $20 holler. Hey, John, I still don't know what to say or do. I needed this Duke game to be Monday night. We find out a lot about Freeman tomorrow night. Jacob, you're right. And again, callers, hold in there. I'm coming right to you. And I'm going to give you guys a lot of time. Okay, I want to hear what you have to say. It's been a very challenging week because this fan base is split in a lot of ways. And what I mean by that is everybody handles disappointment and football grief differently. Okay. Everybody handles it differently. Some people like me, I got to ride it out, just dive right into the pain and let it run its natural course through my brain, through my art, through my soul. And then it never goes away. Push never went away. This is never going to go away, but that pain fades a little bit over time. Okay. But the issue I ran into is a lot of Notre Dame fans were obsessed with the Ohio State outcome and really emotional and worked up about it. And then there's other people who the day after were like, screw it, talk about Duke. Like, I don't want to think about it. It's over. Block that shit out. Let's talk about Duke. And it was very, very hard for me to navigate that. Wednesday was awkward because it was an in-between. Monday, it had to be about Ohio State. It's the Monday after the game Saturday. Wednesday is interesting. Wednesday, I presented it to the call-in show crowd in the morning as wherever you want to go, you go, and I'll follow you. If you want to bring it into Duke and the unique challenge that Notre Dame faces this week, we could do that. And if you wanted to emote about Ohio State more, you could do that too. Okay. And the other thing, somebody was mentioning about NC State and Louisville playing tonight and what an offensive, I shouldn't talk about offense. We had 0 points at halftime in the biggest game of the year. So maybe I should just punch myself in the face for talking about offense. But the offensive onslaught, that's Louisville, NC State tonight. Here's the funny thing, you guys. Adam Dowling in the chat, him and I were talking earlier tonight. You notice how night game at NC State in good weather against an undefeated conference opponent, crickets. Notre Dame goes there at noon in a hurricane, and the place is rocking, almost gonna just cave in. It's absolutely amazing. Everyone wants to say we don't matter. Everybody wants to say that we're irrelevant and all that. And then before you know it, every single game Notre Dame plays is a night game, and you're getting game day everywhere we go. I mean, if that's irrelevant, then whatever, man. Like, that's fine if that's irrelevant. Also, what I'm finding very interesting is the varying opinions on Notre Dame Duke. It's wild. It's wild. I have some people who are like, Notre Dame's coming out pissed off, and they're going to run Duke off the field. And then I got other people who go, last week broke the seal. We're going down like the Titanic. Jump off and grab a life raft. You're dead. And we're going to lose to them, and then it's going to be 7-5. So, and I don't know if those are Notre Dame people that are just upset, and that's like where they're going with just to be negative because they're upset and got to get it out. I don't know, but it's very, very interesting to see that dynamic, okay? So let me go over 2 or 3 little bullet points, and then I'm going to give the rest of the time to you guys. I know you saw Pat say that he wasn't going to be here tonight because he's driving to Raleigh. I don't know whether he's giving me a hard time or not. because he has a bad history of every game Pat goes to ends in absolute misery and disaster for Notre Dame. So I don't think Pat should go to any more games, home or away, personally. But let me get through a couple bullet points that have changed since this morning even, and then I'll give it to you guys. So the best possible thing for Notre Dame right now is to play another football game and win it. Winning is always the answer. Okay. If you're wondering, how do we feel better about stuff? How do you regain momentum? How do you blah, blah, blah? Winning football games. Winning solves everything. There is no substitute for winning. Winning is the ultimate football palate cleanser. Just win. Just win. Okay. So the good thing is Notre Dame has a chance tomorrow to win a football game and knock some of the taste of last week out of our mouths. All right? That is a good thing. The best thing this team could do is go play. Each week, Notre Dame plays the game as a theme. It's a natural theme. You don't have to be a content genius to look at Notre Dame's schedule, and then when you're building out content or writing articles, figure out what the main theme of the week is. This one is all about how Notre Dame bounces back or doesn't. All of ND Nation is watching with a microscope on this coaching staff now that they brought upon themselves. Hurts me to say, but they brought it upon themselves, that microscope. Everybody's zooming in, watching to see how they bounce back. And Irish Nation is in a testy mood. It has been a rough, long week, okay? Now, here's the next thing. Cotter's driving to Raleigh. That's where Cotter is. I mentioned on the morning shows, okay, I mentioned how I was certain Freeman was going to have a heart-to-heart with the players and have a meeting earlier in the week and go over a lot of stuff. And I was certain people were asking how that goes when there's like this coaching mistake nobody can deny. And what do you do about, how do you navigate all that? Like, that's awkward, all of this. The way Freeman is, he was going to handle it right. I had no doubt he was going to handle it right. And by handling it right, I mean, you call a meeting with everybody, all of your guys that you're in war with, and you all get in a room and you say, we messed up and we let you guys down and we didn't put you in the best position to succeed, and it'll never happen again. We're all in this together. Let's go to war, and we're going to win the rest of our games and end up 11-1 and see where that puts us. Okay. So yeah. Wow. That's an original one, man. That's an original one. You're the first guy I have had say that to me. I have not been messaged that 400 times this week. And you know what my response is, prick? Must be that Ohio State education. That's been my response every time anybody goes, oh, you got a head coach, you can't. Hey, I'm blaming that Ohio State education, buddy. I'm blaming that. That's what we're going to go with. How about that? Oh, man. I am getting to the point where I'm starting to be able to laugh about this instead of be upset. So that's a good sign. I'm on my healing arc, people. What I was going to say is I was certain Freeman was going to handle it the right way. Sure enough, Freeman did say that they had some player meeting or whatever, that there was a discussion about. I think that came out in yesterday's presser. And it's exactly how I knew Freeman would handle it. It's the right way to handle it. It's the stand-up way to handle it. It's the only way to handle it. You got to do it. Okay? You got to do it. Jaded Clay, let's hear from the callers. You're going to hear from the callers. But before I give them their time, I'm going to do what I want on my show. Sorry. This week is twofold. One, the buy-in during the week from the guys. Okay, how are they responded to these messages? How are they, where are they at mentally? One is the buy-in during the week. Two is making it translate. It's one thing if the guys are all bought in and they're all on board this week and ready to move on. Can they translate that on the field? Is there a physical hangover for playing Ohio State. Like, no matter where you want your mind to be, is it where it has to be? Like, that's an issue. So one is the buy-in during the week and the messaging in a difficult week. Two is making it translate. Okay. Notre Dame fans have been telling me, get on to Duke, move along, John. Monday, Tuesday, even move along to Duke, move along to Duke. Even Notre Dame staff themselves were fielding questions about Ohio State on Wednesday. That tells you they even know the gravity of this moment. I don't remember seeing that before, where you're into Wednesday of the next game and you're talking about the game before answering questions. That tells you they acknowledge what a big deal this was, and it wasn't a regular old day. Okay. So that kind of reaffirmed to me my position that everybody understands around Notre Dame this was a big damn deal. Them still talking about it Wednesday kind of furthers that point. This was a big deal. Okay. And the final thing, and then we'll get to the callers, is I've seen national people say they're a little bit surprised the Notre Dame fans are not like calling for Freeman's head the way they would at some other places, a football factory or something. And they're saying they're a little bit surprised by that, okay, that we're not asking for his head to roll and all that. You know what this is? It is a compliment to Freeman. It's a compliment to the buy-in the fans have with him and what he's doing on the recruiting trail, how he treats everybody, all of that. That's where that comes from. This fan base wants this guy to succeed, okay? He wants him to succeed. So everybody's on board. And now, that being said, there has to be accountability, meaning you can't have any more of these errors. And if somebody isn't returning on the staff after this year quietly, maybe that solves the situation. Okay. So that's where I want to go with that. But Freeman has credibility with the fans because of the way he treats us, and we want him to succeed. That's why you're not seeing the same kind of reaction you would out of like Kelly or somebody else that the fans didn't all love. Okay. And the funny thing is, all these Ohio State people bragging, they're a half an inch from literally wanting Ryan Day fired. Like it's below them to say, what a great physical game with two really good teams. They won't do that. They're acting like Ryan Day is Lombardi. It was a half an inch away and they'd all be wanting him fired. So it is what it is. Winners get to say whatever winners want to say. All right, we'll go to the phones. 570. What do you know? Happy Friday.
Good evening, John. How are you today?
I'm okay, man. I'm starting to feel better about things, and Notre Dame's got a chance to steady the seas tomorrow and win a football game and get everything back on track. So I am feeling much more myself, but it did take a while, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, you sound a whole lot better tonight than you even did this morning. So
yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I don't know what it is, man. Maybe I'm just excited that Notre Dame gets a chance to go win a football game, and I'm getting excited about that again.
So good for you. And I know the pain lingers on, and we all felt the pain. And as a matter of fact, my wife and I packed up the car on Monday morning and drove up to New York to the Finger Lakes and drank wine for 3 days. So
yeah. Good for you guys.
We got the hell out. The hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, good for you guys, man. I don't blame you at all. And unique circumstances for sure. I think that's the right move by you, man. I really do. I think I approve of that move. But it was just a rough week, and we're gonna right the ship though, man. Marcus, this has got to be a great week of coaching by this staff. And I'm certain the guys are going to be ready to go. And I want to see them take out their anger and frustration on Duke tomorrow night.
Yeah, that sounds like the right plan. We all realize that we're all fans, and we also know that fan is short for fanatic. And in many ways, that's a good thing. But in other ways, it's maybe not such a good thing when it eats at your heart and your soul and brings you down. But
you know what? Can I tell you this with that point? I've struggled with this with Notre Dame my whole adult life. I'm a firm believer that if you're really going to be a diehard fanatic of a team, that means that you have to take it all. You can't just celebrate the good times and then when it's bad, check out and ignore it or whatever. Like, I always just felt inside me that that's wrong. And that if I'm going to be happy when Notre Dame does good, when something bad happens, I have to be equally emotional on the downside. I just think that's the fair way to do it is if I'm going to be really high when we're good, I got to be really low when we're bad or I'm cheating the system. So maybe that's a mental flaw by me. I can't let it go, but that's just how I view it, man.
Well, I understand, and I feel it too, and a lot of people do. It's just a matter of getting back to realizing that this is the team we want to see win and succeed, and we want all the players to do great things in their lives. And one game does not a season make. One loss doesn't dictate a season. Great teams respond in great ways, and that's what we got to look forward to tomorrow night.
Yep, I'm really getting excited about it. Just the opportunity for a palate cleanser, man. Just the opportunity to see our guys playing good out there and win a football game. And I don't want to. I am not even really a lot. I don't think I have the mental or emotional capacity to consider the other side of that equation. I am counting on the guys channeling their frustration, taking it out on Duke and playing a good, tough, physical game against a really good former Notre Dame coach that I really, really respect a lot. And I hope Michigan State hires Mike Elko, to be honest. I think he'd be great for that job, and I respect him a lot.
I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I get that, but it might be it'd be good money and a lot more resources. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, the one thing this week that brought me some peace was listening to the leaders on this team, the players, on various shows and interviews. And it gives me confidence that they're on the right path. They get it. They're focused. Yeah, it hurt. They hurt. We all hurt. But I think they turned the page. And if what their words were is true, then yes, they have turned the page.
Yep. Yeah. And that's all you can do. That's all you can do. I want to see the leadership. I want to see the leaders on this team say, we're not letting this season spiral on us because of last week. Go out there, win the game. This was a huge game all summer. We had circled as being a trap. It's not a trap. It's out in the open now. They have a good season going. There's no such thing as a trap here. You're going to have to play a good game because if you don't, Mike Elko's going to beat you. If you are sloppy, Mike Elko's going to beat you. They got to play a solid game tomorrow, and I'm hoping they do.
Yeah. And I guess we as fans may not have gotten over it yet, but I truly believe the leaders on the team have, and if they're true leaders, then the rest of the team has too.
Yeah.
I have one question for you, John.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on this? And you talked about it a little bit last week. If we win the game and there's so much excitement and there's all that goes on after it, and everybody's feeling really good, versus losing the game, what do you think would make a more determined team tomorrow night? Having won the game or having suffered the way this team suffered through that loss?
Oh, that's tough.
Which one of those you think is going to bring a better team to the field tomorrow night?
That's really, really tough because some of that is how individuals process things. But this isn't an individual situation. It's a whole group, a whole team. Like, I could see it being motivational in both ways. I would feel better rolling into a tough environment with a 0 in the loss column rather than, a 1. I think it depends on your leadership, man. It depends on I would personally be more fired up on top of the world, feeling good about myself, but that's just me. There are certain people that get fired up when something bad happens and then causes them to focus more and on the details. So for me, I tended to play better when I was an athlete coming off something good because I'm a head case. And then at least the last thing in my head was something good. You know, if I shot in the 30s for 9 holes of golf one day, I felt good I was going to do it the next day, as opposed to if I shot 40 something and then go out the next day. So, but I'm a head case. Don't go by me.
That's interesting. And it's just a thought that crossed my mind. And, you know, I know some of the things that were toughest in my life made me a better person. And I plowed on and got through it and did better the next time. And I'm hoping that's what this team does.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And I am certain if anybody's built to navigate this, it's Mr. Marcus Freeman. I wish this would never have to be somebody asked to navigate, but if there is anybody equipped with the emotional intelligence to be able to navigate this, to right the ship, I have a belief that it's going to be him, and that he'll do a good job of it. And that's just how I feel. So we'll see.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind that he suffered on Saturday night and he suffered with the staff on Sunday, but there's also no doubt in my mind that he's turned the page. That's what he is and who he is and how he does things. So
he has to, you know, I mean, I would say I don't have to, but they do, you know, so we'll see though. I'm encouraged. I'm excited to see Notre Dame play again, chance to win a game. That's all that's in my mind. And I'm excited about it, man.
All right, John, I'll let you go and let somebody else say what they have to say, but thanks again and love what you do and go Irish.
Thank you, man. Really good to hear from you. I was thinking about you this week. Really good to hear from you, man. Have a good one, okay?
All right. Thanks, John.
Yep. Take care. Oh, man. There's a lot of back history with that gentleman. What a nice guy. What a nice guy. I see we're still trolling John. I see that. Man, I'm telling you, it really is telling when people would much rather troll me than go watch an OSU channel where they're like, we did good and we won the big game and everything. No. It's way more fun to troll the losers than to even be happy with the winners. I get it. I get it. Dude. Pricks, you know I'm gonna have to ban you if you keep this up. Like, you know we're not doing this. You could see that it's not getting to me. I've already yelled all I'm gonna yell for the last week and a half. Like, give me a break. Look at my brother here. This would be something my brother would say. What are most OSU fans, pricks? Oh, Nicky Dean loves to be heard and seen. What's up, Big Nick?
Hey, I got a couple, three points I want to make.
Hey,
Number one,
wait, hold on, Nick. I haven't really talked to you, I don't think, since last week's game. I've been thinking about you, man. Good to hear from you. I hope you guys are doing okay.
We are.
Good.
Number one, the first thing, you have grande cojones doing that show after that game last Saturday.
It was the right.
I don't know how you did it.
It was the right thing to do, Nick. It was the right.
Well, man,
Nick, I had people telling me, John, I know how you are, and we both know how this is going to go. You need to sleep this one off and then do something tomorrow because this is going to be bad for everybody. And I knew it was going to be bad. I knew it was going to be rough. I was emotionally frozen and I couldn't even process what I just saw. And I was totally unfrazzled and unprepared. I had to do it, Nick. I couldn't be the guy all Notre Dame all the time. Call me. Oh, I do a post-game show and then it doesn't go our way and I don't show up. I couldn't do it, Nick. I knew I would lose credibility and I'd rather be miserable for 3 hours than lose credibility here. So it was the right thing to do, even though I was miserable and everybody watching was miserable and everybody calling was miserable. It was the right thing to do. Those people needed to get it out, and it sucked, but we did it together, and I'm glad I did looking back at it.
I understand that. If I were in your shoes, I would have done the same thing. I appreciate the fact that you gave those people that outlet for 3.5 hours.
It was miserable.
Is what
Nick.
I saw on the
Nick. It was so
on
miserable.
the YouTube.
We were all miserable. I was sweating. I was seeing stars. Have you ever literally been so mad you see stars in your eyes because it was the most miserable. Here, Nick, I've thought about this a lot. This shit means a lot to me. It was the most miserable.
It means a lot to me too.
Yeah, it was the most miserable 3.5 hours of like work or doing something I've ever done. But I think it may have been the most important. Like, I just think our people needed that at that time. And so it sucked and I hated it, but it was the right thing to do. And I'm glad I did it now that it's over.
Well, I'm glad you did it too. I could only watch for about 15 minutes. When I found out we only had 10 players on the field for the last 2 plays, I shut you off. I'm sorry, John.
Yeah.
I gave you a like. I gave you a thumbs up. But I couldn't deal with it.
You got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. Some people wanted to be with the group and let it rip. Other people popped in and said, dude, I can't do this. This is bad for my mental health. And they got out of there. Dude, you got, when you're in that dynamic, man, you got to do what you got to do to not lose your mind. And so, yeah, I appreciate whatever. At least you popped in and gave it a thumbs up. But that was a awful call-in show. The most miserable I've ever done, but maybe one of the most important.
But, dude, you solidified your spot as my hero.
Well,
with that call-in show.
I appreciate that.
Okay, so
I do.
We go on to my 3 main points because that's what I told you I had.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, our defense played great against Ohio State. They keep doing that this year. We could seriously go 11-1. Number 2, our coaches held Hartman back. We did not have but 3 plays attempted over 20 yards in the first half. Number 3, I believe Mr. Heisman candidate Audric Estime is going into this week really pissed off.
You want to...
My 3 points...
I have a really sarcastic response to that.
Take those 3 points.
I have a really sarcastic response to him. Yeah.
Take those 3 points, and I will debate you, sir.
Number 1.
I will debate you.
Number 1. I think the defense did a really good job. I just think that in this kind of ball game, you needed a couple splash plays. You needed a turnover, or you needed more sacks to help them lose yardage. Like, I'm obviously 17 points to Ohio State, we would have all signed up for, and that's great. But it ended up being a situation where you got to get one of those turnovers to get over the hump and steal a possession, and then maybe some more pressure. Some big behind the line of scrimmage plays I would have liked to see. But overall, 17 points, I'll never complain about it. I will never complain about that against this team. And then what'd you say about the coaches? What was that point?
The coaches held Hartman back. I wanted to see Hartman take at least 4 shots downfield in the first half. I mean, it's the first half.
Yeah.
Take a shot. Take 4 shots.
Yeah,
please.
I think I agree with you. And here's my reasoning for it. The odds that you're going to be able to put together a handful of 12 or 13 play drives to score enough I don't think you're going to do that often. And I wouldn't have wanted to see it a lot. But I would like to have seen them take a couple shots to try and get some chunks, because the odds you were going to put together 5 12-play drives to score isn't very good against a defense as skilled as them. So I thought you brought Arvin in here to let it rip a little more. And I agree with you. I would have wanted to see that. As far as Estime goes, he could be as mad as he wants to be on the sideline. Like what? I don't under, like, they didn't play. He's your racehorse, your Clydesdale, and you didn't put him in when you needed him the most. He could play mad. He could be as mad as he wants, but if he's on the sideline during the critical part of the game, where's it going to get us? There's my sarcastic response. Put the guy in the game. That's why you have that guy as the end of the game to run somebody off. Do it.
In my opinion, you actually proved two of my points. Number one, give Hartman a shot or 4 to the outside and let him sling it 50 yards. Worst case scenario, it's a punt. It's an interception that counts as a punt.
Yep.
And you run Estime and run Estime and run Estime until, and Love, I'm sorry, Love has been doing great this year too.
Yeah.
Run Estime, run Love. Run Estime, run Love.
It's just they overthought
either one of them.
They overthought
let either one of them be the lead blocker for the other one.
Parker overthought the moment and got too tricky. And I hope they learn. I hope they learn from it. They got too cute. The 4th down calls. I love going for both of them. I hate the play calls. Like, I don't understand. They outthought themselves, and it's a tough learning moment. And hopefully we see a better setup from there.
We got that ball back with 4 minutes and I think 26 seconds left on like our 14. I looked at my wife and I said, we need to get 2 first downs. 2 first downs and we win this game. Little did I know we would get 2 first downs in 2 plays.
Yep.
And I looked at her and I said, we need to get 2 more.
You know what? I would argue that my biggest reason for running the ball with Estime that the rest of that drive was you have multiple ways to win the game then. If he gets another first down, the game's over. And even if he doesn't, you are still working towards winning the game by making them blow their timeouts and then eating more clock. Yeah. And then you punt it back. Yes, exactly. So my argument is that gives you multiple alleys to win. The screen pass, listen, if they hit it, it's Notre Dame lore forever, and it's all over. But you got an NFL guy off the edge there that already got his hands on that a pass like that earlier in the game, and you did it. Whatever, man. Whatever. Yeah. So I disagree with that stuff too, man. I've been thinking about it all week. I agree with you.
Pat Cotter was 100% right. They hit that screen pass that defensive end made a great play on. That guy's still running.
Hey,
we're talking 6 days later.
Listen, Nick, don't be giving Pat a bunch of credit. It's just going to go to his head and encourage him. You don't want to do that.
Man.
Yeah, you don't want to get old Pat going. What else you got on the way out, Nick? It's good catching up with you.
Number 1, you're my boy.
Thank you.
Number 2, Pat is my 1A boy.
There you go. Yeah,
and
we're a package deal.
Always Irish Show. I love the Always Irish Show, and thank you for doing everything you do. Sorry I couldn't be up there for the Central Michigan game, but we'll hook up again, homie.
Yeah, we will for sure. Nick, thank you for touching base. You were on my mind after the game. Wanted to make sure you're okay. Tell your lovely wife I said hello, and you guys have a good weekend. Okay, Nick?
All right, you too, homie.
Yep, enjoy the game, man. Enjoy the game. Mark Rogers, the voice of college football, hard-working man. Telling you, man, hard-working man. I don't know how he covers all the stuff he does. Go subscribe to him. He's got all different teams all across country he covers. Looks like ND fans need to be reminded they have a game versus Duke Saturday. Mark, you jumped in right after I went over the challenge of the week. The challenge of the week is how to balance trying to get over this, which was not a regular game, not a regular loss. It was a bigger deal than that, and everybody needs to admit that this was not a run-of-the-mill situation. I have been struggling navigating that all week, Mark. Some people want to move on. Some people are still stuck. I don't know what am I going to do? I got somebody who likes my show that wants to call in, and then they talk about the game. I hang up on them. Like, this is the spot to get it out. This is the spot to get it out. What number am I calling? Bro? Come on, bro. Are you serious? Does nobody listen to my rhymes? 312-900-8815. Who else? Hold on. 484. What's going on? Welcome to the show.
Don, what's up? This is Dan Daly. Shout out from Oklahoma. How's it going?
Oh, it's going okay, man. I'm excited Notre Dame could right the ship tomorrow. Get out there and play football again. Palate cleanser. A win. Let's do it.
100%. Much like the last caller, I also have 3 points. The last point is really a question, but my first 2 points, I'm going to kind of Quentin Tarantino this thing. I want to talk about Duke first, and then I have a comment about last week.
Okay.
That will follow that, if that's good with you.
Sounds good to me, man.
All right. Comment number 1 about tomorrow. Run, 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 and then run it some more. And when you're tired with running, then do a play action pass to Holden Stays. That is the key to victory, man. Aldrich Estime, what was that? That one run in the fourth quarter last week? You know, he's doing the spoon thing. Feed me. Man's got to eat. That we need to play bully ball, murder ball, much like Bama in their, back in the day, but I'm talking like 2013. We need to play murder ball / bully ball tomorrow and beat the brakes off of these guys. They are way overmatched by the Notre Dame offensive line. So that's my point 1. Do you have anything you want to say about that?
I like that, man. And I think here's what I would love to see. I would find solace after the pain of what occurred last week if it was apparent to us when we're watching the game that Notre Dame's playing pissed off. It would just make me feel a lot better if they were like fired up in a way where like, we're not messing around. Now we're in a bad mood and we're taking it out on you at your place. I would like to get the sense that they are pissed off and ready to go. I have said this and written this multiple times this week. I pray those guys don't play the way I have felt all week, because then we're going to be in trouble at Duke. I do not want them to play the way I've been feeling. I have done a bad job navigating this dynamic. I am not proud of myself for how I've reacted and felt this week and operated, but it's who I am and how I feel. I'm not proud of it. It's not mature, but it's where I've been. I hope and think this team is going to be better at moving on than I've been.
Yeah, John, and that brings me to my second point. But before I go there, I want to say earlier this week, I was listening to Mike Singer and the Blue and Gold show.
Yeah, and
they were saying that Notre Dame does not have, quote, that guy on the outside, right? Like a dude on the outside. Think of like someone like Devonta Smith, someone like that. I tell you what, man, I think Holden Stays can be that guy. When I watch him play, he reminds me of Tony Gonzalez. I know he's young and he's still developing. I honestly think he has the potential to be better than Michael Mayer even. Anyway, I don't want to talk too much about that. Moving on to what you said about so now I'm going to talk a little bit about last week. So the question all week, the primary question everyone's asking is, after a game like that, is the team down or are they fired up? And it's almost impossible to know unless you're in the locker room, right? Unless you're one of those guys.
Yep. Yeah.
So I don't have access to that. You do. I went up to one of my colleagues Monday morning. I went into work. I was miserable. I was miserable and distracted all week, man. And I went up to one of my colleagues on Monday morning, and he plays football at Army. Okay. And I said, hey man, like, you play football at a high level. How did you react after a loss like that? And he was on the Army team in 2018 that took Oklahoma to overtime. Obviously, Army has no business taking Oklahoma to overtime. And they lost. They lost that game in overtime to Oklahoma. But then they went on to run the table the rest of the season, and they went 11-2. And he said, yeah, he's like, after a game like that, like, normally, like, you're fired up. It's like you kind of prove to yourself, like, man, we should have won that, and now we want to prove it the rest of the year.
Now wait. Okay, wait. You're on a good trail here. And the trail is the nuance of, I'm glad you brought that up. Don't let me forget this. The nuance of this I like, because the dynamic is, while the ultimate result of Notre Dame in this big game was a loss, which is what we're used to the past 25 years, the ultimate result was the exact same we've been getting. However, this one hurts differently because it's the first time in like 20 years where you actually felt like Notre Dame deserved to maybe win the game and actually like held up against an elite team that's proven and has all that credibility and all that. Like, this was built differently. And then it's like, well, you were that close. You were in it. You were an inch away. You should have just won it then, you know? But listen, it's a good sign, man. Freeman's got these guys fired up. They were ready to go into this game. They matched the emotion of Ohio State. That is a complaint we had about Kelly the whole way through, that he could never motivate the guys. In every big game, they were going to punch in and do their business trip, and the other teams got their heads on fire, ready for war. Those games were lost before Notre Dame even took the field and the ball was kicked off. This is all different. It's a whole different thing. And this was just an opportunity to kind of accelerate it, and it didn't happen. But it's different. This looked differently. Notre Dame belonged on the same field with an elite roster. We have not been able to say that for a very long time. Yes, I'm upset, but that is ultimately a good sign on the big picture.
And John, that brings me to my final question. Totally agree with everything you just said. You know, we've been through a lot of really discouraging losses in recent memory. Okay, you know, the home and away against Georgia, Clemson in the ACC championship, Clemson in the playoff before that, Bama in the playoff.
Hey, whoa. Don't forget 2019 at the Big House. Don't forget 2017 at Miami.
Oh.
Like these are all coming back to me, baby. They're all coming back.
And that brings me to my next question. And, you know, this is, this is kind of funny. I think we really need to talk about it if we don't want. But it's, you know, I know you're a man who thinks long term. I think most people, you know, they do. And my question is, who is our quarterback next year?
Don't do this to me. Can I just worry about one problem at a time? Can I just worry about one problem at a time? Damn it. I thought the big three. Come on, bro.
I thought the big three was going away. I thought the big three was going away after this year. And then, man, it's just a new big three next year. August 31st, 2024. We're going to College Station. Who's taking the field? And then we got Florida State and we got USC again next year. So what do you think, man?
Listen, all right, here's what I think. What I think is this staff needs to be really good at evaluating. They need to have a really good idea on what Angeli and Minchie are and can be next year. They have to have a really good idea. Gino Guidugli, the quarterback coach, they have got to figure out a way to have a really good, accurate handle on where those guys are at. And then you also have to compare that with who's available in the portal. Some of this is going to depend on the quality of quarterbacks in the portal and if any of them have interest in Notre Dame. My hope is they feel good enough with what they have. They don't need to do that or whatever. I don't think they want Carr to play year one. I know a lot of fans, 5-star Carr, let him go earlier. I don't think the staff wants that to be his path. So then you're looking at Angeli or Minchie, probably. And then you got to see who's in the portal. And if there's a guy that you like better with the roster we have, you can maybe do that. But my hope would be that's it.
Drake May.
That would be it, though. I need Notre Dame to hitch their wagon to a young guy somewhere along the line here and roll with them. And so this needs to be, come on, man. This needs to be like, we need to hitch our wagon to a guy. But I can't believe you're trying to make me worry about that in the middle of all this. Come on, man. I don't have enough hair for this.
Hey, John, just final concluding thought, and then I'll let someone else talk. I've been watching your channel since day one. Haven't called in that many times. Maybe I'll call in more in the future. But watching you after the game last week and all this week, and you were crushed, man. And it broke my heart, man. It really did. It broke my heart to see you like that. And I understand why. But I think it was like the previous. I think it was the first caller was saying, it's like good things happen to you in life, bad things happen too. At the end of the day, but you got to move on. It makes you stronger. And I would just say, man, don't despair, brother. Don't despair. If Jesus taught us one thing, it's to not despair. And I hope that someone that is a graduate from Notre Dame understands that. So that's it, man. That's my final thought.
Hey, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I mean, it was awkward, dude. Like, it's just awkward to be that crushed in the moment and then have it be public at the level it was. Those were the highest numbers we've ever had live. We had well over 600 people concurrent for this channel. That's a lot. And I just had to be me, and I was miserable, and it showed in my face, and everybody saw it. And I was it was a miserable night, but it was an important one. We all had to go through it. And we had to go through it. So, but I really appreciate you, man. Thank you for the kind words.
Hey, thanks for hearing me out, man. Yo, go Irish. Just beat the brakes off the Blue Devils tomorrow. Let's go.
There you go. I love it, man. Hey, save the number. Give me a call again, okay? Thank you. Bro, how are people saying they don't know the colon number when it literally scrolls across the screen? Like, am I the one that's slow here? The number goes across the screen. What do you mean you don't know the number, bro? 443, you're talking to me. What's going on a Friday night?
Hey, John, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing a little better. I'm doing better than I was a few days ago. I'm ready to see Notre Dame go crack somebody in the mouth now. That's what I'm ready for.
Yeah, and that's been the problem all week. We don't get to, start a game plan or look to Duke. You have to live with what they put out there at the last moments of Saturday. And that's what's bothered me for the whole entire week on the show. I've been listening, and it's just like you go back and you just see all the points, and it's just driving you up the wall. But I'm ready for Duke to come. I'm excited for that because let's just move on. But, there's one thing that was bothering me that we've talked about all week. I understand the offense didn't score enough points to win the game. But this defensive pattern, and what upset me the most all week was Al Golden says, during the game, the only plays that matter are in the last 4 minutes, right? Then why are you always terrible in the last 4 minutes? And don't tell me it was a talent gap. It happened with Marshall. It happened with Stanford.
Yeah.
If the only 4 minutes matter, why do you suck at what you say is the most important? Sorry, I'm still a little upset. So it's just the way I feel. And he does something stupid. Your guy on the radio show earlier this morning, I forget, it was like the last call. I can't remember if his name was Tim or Tom. I don't know what he's doing. He vacates the middle of the field. We've been talking about it since the beginning of the season. The linebackers, this is what's the most frustrating thing about our defense. We have an NFL linebacker coach and a head coach that was a linebacker, and we have a Michigan State linebacker coach, but they don't get in the slots to cut off the inner routes. And our cornerbacks were the best we've probably ever had since I've been alive. And we held the receivers to ridiculously low points. I don't know what this vacate the field, middle of the field crap is, but it continues to bite us because every time somebody needs a play, they go to the middle of the field where no one's at. And these linebackers, everyone tells me how great they are, but we miss 10 tackles a game between our linebackers and secondary. So, and they put their hearts out there. Well, tackling's kind of an effort thing to me. So I don't know. There's a frustrating level with Golden these days that I'm starting to see a pattern, and it has nothing to do with talent.
It wouldn't surprise me if you saw Al Golden be an analyst, go back to the NFL, retire, and then you saw Mike Mickens move over and take over as DC. That may be something coming down the line. That wouldn't surprise me a bit. But yeah, there's frustrations. Overall, this defense is solid, but I need more like game-changing impact, meaning like I need more actual turnovers. I need actual sacks. Like Notre Dame is like, if they're not dead last, they're second to dead last in tackles for a loss so far. That's shocking for a defense that overall is as solid as ours, but they're not getting like the big impact plays that I need to win a game like Ohio State, where I think you need to steal 2 possessions, something like that. So we didn't get that. So it's frustrating. I know it's frustrating.
Well, it's also this. Everyone talked about Thomas Harper this weekend. He's playing the outside order, and the outside guys, Cam Hart and Benjamin Morrison, played phenomenal, right? So what do we force Ohio State guys to do? Move into the slot. Well, Al Golden has our nickel play the outside shoulder of the slot receiver, which means he gives the entire inside of the field. What's more to cover, the outside to the hash to the out or inside to the middle of the field? NC State has done it. Ohio State, Tennessee State. Navy didn't do it because they don't throw the freaking ball, but it was there inside the seams. I hate to tell you. I'm just telling you, they're going to have to correct it before USC even this weekend. I guarantee you right now, if the offense needs a first down, they're going to go over the freaking middle of the field where no one's at. And if 4 minutes are important, don't tell me why are our guys the least prepared for the last 4 minutes of the game. That's what's driving me up the wall. And it wasn't talent against Marshall. They took it 90 yards on the last drive. You need one more stop. So you're not doing something right. And when our most experienced coaches are all defensive coaches, and you call yourself a balanced team, yeah, I understand. Offense didn't score enough points. But you needed one more stop multiple times, and we've never done it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's Golden in here. Let me be real. We haven't.
Yeah.
One more stop. We don't get it.
It's a little frustrating. And I'm telling you, though, I would not be surprised. And I don't know why I'm saying this. I'm just saying, don't be surprised if Al Golden rides off into the sunset or goes to become an analyst. And then Mike Mickens just slides right over. He's Marcus's best friend, longtime road dog, recruiting dog, developer. That's where I ultimately see this heading. So I don't know, man. I'm with you. It's frustrating. The 3rd and 19, I don't understand. And then even if you had 11 guys on the goal line, they were in nickel, and I disagree with that. With the goal line stuff that Ohio State lined up in, and they were in nickel. Even if we had 11 guys, I disagree with the coverage they were doing. So it's frustrating, man. But can I ask you this? Let's turn it forward. What about Duke? Do you feel good about this? Or are we going to show up feeling all shitty like I do and play like anus? What's going to happen?
I don't think we're gonna play like anus. Number one, Duke has been allowing almost 133 yards a game on the ground, and I know they've helped their opponents to 8.8 points. But let me be honest. We had Mike Elko as a defensive coordinator. He's a very smart defensive coordinator. He knows what his strengths and what his weaknesses are. But right now, he's going to have to load up and stop the box. But he's going to make Hartman make the throws. He's uncomfortable. Remember with Clark Lee and Elko, he used our talent and said, if the other quarterback can make these out throws and these difficult throws, they're going to beat us and they're going to move the ball. But he makes you be consistent all the way down the field. My main concern is they're going to be jacked. I hope we're jacked and ready to go. And let me be honest, everyone talks about feed Audric Estime. If you watch the Ohio State game, Jeremiah Love hit the hole, and he hit the hole hard. He's been impressive. He makes a decision, and he goes, and he slices right through there. And I like Audric. Me and you have talked year before, this year, about Audric. He's a great sledgehammer. But Julian Love is a great counterpiece. And the thing I have to say about our coaching staff is that I like is he's taken the ability of each running back and using what they do best. And that's the best part of what I'm watching. Yes, is he inexperienced? 100%. But I do like some of the plans I've seen and the way he uses different players' talents.
Yeah.
Now, Duke, I think the number one thing is they do have a decent-sized defensive line, and they do have some big linebackers. I think their linebackers are 235 pounds apiece, but they're not the most athletic guys. So how do you take advantage of that? They're going to be ready to stop the run, and 12 personnel has not worked out for us very well because we load up in with the 2 tight ends, and technically our running statistics is very low in that personnel package. We've done better in 21, 12, all that stuff. But I'm just telling you right now, I hope they're ready to play and they're ready to go. But one other question I got to say to you, John, about our defense. Sack-wise, right? We have a smaller defensive line, wouldn't you say? I'm not saying they're tiny, but they're not big behemoths.
You know what?
Why is Howard Cross? Why are all of them two-gapping? Do you know why they're two-gapping? They're putting the screws on Jim, they're holding the line of scrimmage, they're standing up and stopping. They're not even rushing the passer so that we can send our linebackers to run into the next person and do nothing. So I don't know.
Yeah, the blitz scheme since Al Golden's been here have been wild. Like something seems off with. I agree with you on the blitzing schemes. Something is always mistimed. It never all times right. We are a half a split second late on everything. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. So what do you think? Do we show up and get the win tomorrow night, even if it's like a big? An ugly, tough game? Do we at least get the win and steady the seas here? Come on.
I'm going to tell you what I see. I see it maybe in the beginning because we know they're going to be jacked, just like NC State was. I think Duke comes out strong, stays firm. I think it's going to be close, but I think we're going to get the NC State result where the margin of victory is bigger than what the game was. And that's what I'm expecting. And that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Because I have to take into account, and you have to take into account, this is Duke, and I know it's a big game. To us, it's a big, but every game's a big game to me and you. I'm a psycho just like you. I didn't sleep Saturday either. I didn't deal well with Sunday.
Yep.
Monday, Tuesday, and every time I talked about it, and you see, it's Saturday. It's almost Saturday, and I'm still jacked, John. I'm still upset.
I know.
But I'm telling you right now, like when the kickoff goes, I'm ready to go, but I can't expect them to be jacked like they were against Ohio State for Duke. They should be. They're a ranked team. They've been really good on
but it's not
defense,
the same environment. It's not the same dynamic, and it's okay to admit that. Like, you can't manufacture emotion that isn't there. Playing Duke, even if they're undefeated, is not the same as playing Ohio State last week. I can acknowledge that. They just have to be in it enough to make sure they win this game. It's an absolute must win no matter what it looks like. Gotta have it.
It is a must win the rest of the season. And here's the dynamic that I hate about my life for the next 12 months. I need to make sure Ohio State wins the Big Ten, who I hate with all my heart. And then I have to hope we crush USC. And then USC, we have to hope wins the Pac-12, which I hate USC. And I hope they fall in the ocean one day and we never have to see them again.
Yeah, that's how I feel about the whole state of California.
That's
how I feel about the whole state of California. I want an earthquake, and I want it all to just shimmy right into the Pacific, never to be seen again. That's what I want to happen to that state.
Well, I heard you, and we connected a couple years ago on that because I told my wife, you see, I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one.
Yeah. You're a psycho. But, no, like, you need counseling, but so do I. I mean, it's fine. I mean, you don't judge yourself to me. We're both crazy, and we both need psychiatric help, my friend. Hey, man, I appreciate the call, and I get it, man. I feel and I'm glad that other people were where I was all week. Let's just hope, win tomorrow, steady the rocky seas, beat the shit out of Louisville in their blackout, and then we do this huge big game build up for USC again and hope for a different result. But I want you to have a good weekend, buddy. Have a good weekend.
You have a blessed one, and you take
too,
care.
Man.
Bye.
Hey, don't stress yourself out too much. Let me do it for you, all right? I like how fired up he gets. Now, wait a second. Before I bring Mark up, here's the deal, Mark. Your name, it's unknown. Like, if certain people that don't have their name blocked, I could see who's calling in, and it would say Mark Rogers, and I could bring him up. If you have your phone set up for like anonymous, I have random numbers. So, Mark, I would not have made you pay to get on the air. I just didn't know your number, and it's just unknown. Here we go. What's up, Mark?
John, how are you?
I'm doing a little better, Mark. It's been a long week for me and my people, man. It has been a long, rough week, buddy. It has been a struggle it's been a struggle, Mark. This was not just one game. It was different, and some of the details make it very, very hard.
John, I'm going to say before we get into the football that you sucked me in here. So I don't watch people's shows. People ask me, people are always making comments about this show and that show.
You're too busy. When you're doing this, you're too busy.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I get that too, Mark. I get that too.
By the time I get to all the content that I do, I don't want to be watching more college football.
Yeah.
I watch other stuff that I want to see.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's always bringing up other shows to me, and I'm always like, I don't know who that is or whatever.
Yeah.
But you're amazing. I support you, love what you do. You know that. And this is the first time I've called anybody. I've never called any show ever. So you are the guy I decided to call. So
thank you, Mark. Can I ask
you,
first off, everybody know this is Mark Rogers, voice of college football. Go to his channel, subscribe, hardest working guy in the business. Like does all day, every day. Mark's got something for you. National, your team's on to everything. Go subscribe. Mark, it was a very unique evening in South Bend last Saturday night, and it carries a lot of weight. And it's just hard to move on, Mark. It was not a regular run-of-the-mill loss. There were circumstances here that are so Notre Dame-y. It just has us all losing our minds, man.
Absolutely. So I'm here to say, first and foremost, Notre Dame's got a great team. They've got an unbelievable team. I don't have any issue with any Notre Dame fan who would walk away from that game and say, you know what? We lost the game, but I think we've got a better team. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I think you can make that evaluation on the Notre Dame team after watching them play Ohio State. I also have no issue with anyone who thinks Ohio State's better. I think the game was just that close. And I know if you put it together with everything that we talked about last week, with the years and years of frustration, then it becomes more and more frustrating. If Ohio State loses that game, Ohio State fans would have to take it from Notre Dame fans, obviously, and they would have been hurt because Ohio State fans expect to win every game, but there wouldn't be this just decades long of just frustration. So I get it. John, the two things that annoyed me about a collection of Notre Dame fans, and I've stated this all week. I've told Notre Dame fans, for the ones that join us on my channel, we love you. We want you to be here. We want you to feel like your team's respected and given a fair shot and all that. But there was a collection of Notre Dame fans that I either saw on social media or came to my channel for like 6 or 7 months. You know, this has been brewing for 6 or 7 months. And there are two things that I took exception to. One was, we guarantee we're going to win this game. I always thought that it was the stupidest thing in the world. Okay, you're going to guarantee a win. So what happens? How do we hold these people accountable
Why
to
would
guarantee wins?
Mark, that is like just below. Nobody should say that. I don't care what fan of a team you're of. Like, that, nobody should say that. Like, how can you guarantee a win, especially if you're Notre Dame and you don't have a history of winning those games? It's particularly hard to kind of make that claim. That, Mark, that's an issue I'm battling this week. All the Ohio State people are trolling me because I do this a lot, and then they say, all you guys ran your mouths all week. You were going to beat us. All I said all last week was they're really good. And I feel like we can actually hang in there and match up with them and have a good chance this year. I never said anything downgrading them or we're going to kill them or Ohio State doesn't have top end talent. I didn't say any of that, but I'm catching all those strays from Twitter people apparently running their mouths. I don't appreciate it.
The take that you brought to my channel last week is exactly the same take that I heard from a lot of reasonable Notre Dame fans. It made total sense to say, I love my team. I love my new quarterback. I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful. All that made total sense to say, I've got confidence in this team and this is a good situation for us. And I think we're going to do it. That made complete sense.
Yeah.
I totally got it.
Yeah.
I picked Notre Dame to win.
Hey,
Mark,
you were only one win. You were only 1 inch wrong, buddy. You were only one inch off. That was it. That's how close you were. You were only 1 inch off. And because of that 1 inch, I have to wear Woody's Hayes hat on one of my shows next week.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to have to tune in for that one.
Yes, I made a bet with an Ohio State podcast, and I lost it by an inch. They're mailing me a Woody Hayes hat, so I'm going to be wearing a Woody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be wearing a Woody. I'm a man of my word. I'm going to wear it.
Oh, that should be a sight to behold. I've got one of those myself, the Block O hat. There you go.
Yeah.
So that's one exception I've taken with Notre Dame fans.
But that's fair, Mark. Mark, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair because you.
And then the other one that I want to make clear is, again, I have no issue with Notre Dame fans who have said, I think our team and our program is on par with Ohio State right now. Right this second, I believe the team we put together this year and the program we have with Marcus Freeman, I believe we're gonna prove it and show it. But it's been the ones who have said that Notre Dame's program's been on the level of Ohio State in the recent past.
That makes no sense.
I've had exception with.
There's no facts to back that up.
John, do you know how many seasons Notre Dame's had a better record than Ohio State since 1993?
I would guess it is like under like 2 or 3 or 4, maybe. Come on. Yeah.
Two out of 30 years.
Yeah. Okay. But Mark, you are a
zero. As you well know, I hate to drive the stake, John, but as you well know, 0 New Year's 6 wins against 14. And I could keep going.
Mark.
NFL draft selections, first rounders, wins, bowl wins.
I'm disappointed in you, Mark.
It's
Mark,
not close.
I'm disappointed in you, Mark. Do you want to know why?
I had to put up with this for 6 or 7 months.
Do you want to know why I'm disappointed in you, Mark? Because those are totally unreasonable people and takes. And I wish you would at your stature and what you're doing on your show, not even letting them register to you because that's so out of bounds. Like none of those people have been saying that in my chat. Like they're not even saying that to me. I think they just go to people who don't do Notre Dame stuff and beef up their position. That's kind of what I think happens. When it's not in-house, I think Notre Dame people go the extra mile to try and beef up and defend Notre Dame. But both of the things you said, if Notre Dame people called me and said them, I would disagree. I mean, you're not wrong on anything you're saying. That's just rough. Notre Dame people shouldn't be saying that stuff.
And then the other thing I'm going to bring up, John, and it's been brought up in the chat since a few people saw me in the chat, and we talked about this last week. And I just want to make this perfectly clear because it's all documented.
Yeah.
It's all time-stamped. It's all out there on my channel. And I think the first thing you're going to totally understand, that when you're talking and it's recorded for like 30 or 35 hours a week, like I talk for like 30 or 35 hours a week.
You don't remember anything that happened at the beginning of that. It's just done and gone, and it's content and it's gone, and you move on to the next thing. I know.
Yeah, every so often you got to kind of retract, like, oh, I said that they dominated the game. No, they didn't dominate the game. They had control of the game. You know, people nitpick everything. But the things I will stand on is just to make it clear, because with all this realignment and with me personally wanting Notre Dame to be in the Big Ten, I have wanted that my whole life, Notre Dame to be in the Big Ten. I just think it would be phenomenal. That I made the comparison of Notre Dame and how they would fit in the Big Ten and what that would look like now and maybe what that would have looked like for the last 20 years. Well, when you put the Notre Dame records down over the last 20 years since 2000, it's Iowa. It's Iowa. I did not say that Notre Dame is Iowa historically. All time, it's not even, that would be a ridiculous statement to make. Notre Dame is arguably the greatest football program in history. I would have no issue with a Notre Dame fan having that conversation with me and saying, we have the greatest football tradition in history, because you've got that argument. Ohio State's got that argument. Alabama's got that argument. There's a few schools that have that argument. But for the last 20 years, you put all the good and the bad together, Iowa. Now, also, I moved on from that statement to say that the 22 team that went 9-4, that was like an Iowa-Wisconsin kind of year. But I also made these statements that Brian Kelly's reign of a decade going into the Marcus Freeman era, that Notre Dame has had a top 10 program in college football for the last decade plus. And that if they joined the Big Ten, that I would expect, based on the condition of the program right now, that they would be Penn State. That's what I said. Those are all the points that I made about Notre Dame in the Big Ten.
Yeah. Here's the Big Ten Iowa thing. Let me bring this up. Because I'm like you, Mark. When I'm doing my stuff, I'm busy. I don't have time to watch everybody else's stuff. Like in the Notre Dame niche or anything else, I'm busy enough doing my own. Here would be the pushback that I've heard. It would be, how can you compare Notre Dame's Big Ten record when Notre Dame's only playing good Big Ten teams, right? Like Notre Dame would never play the schedule Iowa plays in the Big Ten. Notre Dame's playing Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State. They're not playing Rutgers. They're not playing any of the lower teams. When Notre Dame plays Big Ten teams, it tends to be the top tier. And so that's where Notre Dame people were like, okay, come on, man. Like, we're not playing the same slate Iowa is. If we're playing the Big Ten, it's the top teams in the Big Ten.
John, you know me.
I do.
And you know that I'm way ahead of that argument. Don't you think I know that? Don't you think I know who Notre Dame plays? I was not comparing Notre Dame in just games played against the Big Ten. I was looking at their record.
Okay,
I
thought it was a Big Ten specific thing looking at that. And then that's where I'm going logically, okay, we're playing Michigan though. You know what I mean? That's a lot different than, yeah. So, but again, Mark, I didn't see any of this. No offense, but I was busy. And then I do a show with you and everybody's mad at me for being friends with you, Mark. You know how it goes.
Oh, I know. So again, but let's also understand that Notre Dame in the last, we know what those rivalries have been. Playing Michigan every year for a long, long time, for decades. Yeah. Playing Michigan State, playing Purdue.
Yep.
So there is a Purdue series there, and Purdue hasn't really been that good most of that time.
Yeah.
And there have been some matchups, some home and home, neutral fields with Northwestern. So there have been some lesser teams in the Big Ten sprinkled in there. Yes, it's heavy toward Michigan and some good Michigan State teams when they were better than they are now. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know, man. And I don't know if you're going to get your dream of Notre Dame in the Big Ten. I don't know, man. With the expanded playoff, I don't know if Notre Dame's going to feel the necessity. But let me ask you this, Mark. Have you heard that rumor that Clemson's jumping to the Big Ten? What is that announcement they have? On Twitter, everybody's saying they're going to leave for the Big Ten, and that's the big announcement Clemson's going to make. I don't know what it is. What are they announcing, a series with Ohio State? Or what is that announcement about? Have you seen that?
Yeah, so I have not. I've heard it talked about, and well, I shouldn't even say that. I've heard the thread out there. I had not heard it talked about per se, or know what it is going to be. But of course, we know that Florida State and Clemson are at the top of that list of ACC schools that are bringing in the most revenue and pissed about getting an equal distribution with everyone else because they're carrying the league and they just can't stay competitive.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I hope Notre Dame is going to look at their finances brought in by their TV revenue and say, hey, we can go to the Big Ten.
Well,
and
you
make
know what
90
else,
million
Mark?
bucks.
Mark, I'm waiting to hear, they announced the new apparel renewal deal with Under Armour in the summer. That was a big deal. And the other shoe to drop is, what are they going to do with the TV deal? And then Notre Dame hires Pete Bavacqua, the NBC sports executive, to take over for Swarbrick to be the next AD. I'm assuming that means they're still in bed with NBC, but I am waiting to hear the details of their next deal, which is up next year. So I'm waiting to hear what it is. But my theory is, Mark, Notre Dame doesn't hire the NBC executive to take over unless there's a sweetheart deal in the making. It would make no sense otherwise. I expect a fat, big number. I expect a big number.
Yeah. I don't know collectively what the Notre Dame games are worth, but look at Ohio State in the Big Ten. They collect the same distribution as Indiana does, and they're okay with that. Notre Dame would bring by itself, I would guess that they could bring in. If you're looking at Notre Dame and Ohio State as being like TV draws, which I did a series over the off season looking at the TV ratings for 2022 and really broke them down. And I think that's a fair comparison. They are at the very pinnacle of college football, those two, in bringing in TV ratings. And Ohio State, if the average Big Ten school, if they're all sharing a distribution of around $85 million in this new contract starting in 2024, that Ohio State, if they negotiated their own contract, it would be 4 times that. So I got to think Notre Dame, if they go on the open market, could attract a huge number there. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know.
But of course, the NBC situation is also they're tied with the Big Ten now as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that's getting weird too, by the way. It's just weird. I'm used to Notre Dame owning college football on NBC. And now I see those commercials in the NBC logo and colors, and it's for like Penn State or whatever. It's throwing me off. And they're already not liking being pushed to Peacock on NBC. I'm glad I'm not the only one in that misery anymore. I know the Michigan people were furious. Their first game, they had to log on to a streaming service. I'm just glad it isn't just me. So I don't know, Mark. It's just it was a rough ending last week for Notre Dame, and
no doubt,
Mark,
I totally get it.
Mark, this is one that lingers, and this is one that it's going to stick on Marcus a while because of some of the details. This was not a run-of-the-mill, your everyday Saturday loss. There was a lot to gain for Notre Dame that was lost by an inch, and I just gotta hope that by this time tomorrow night, I'm not saying, man, that one carried into 2, and now you're looking at 2 losses because of 1. That's the big thing you got to avoid.
Yeah, I respect this Duke team. I think they're a good team. This is the crazy number coming out from last year, John, is that I never have seen a team that's brought back every rushing yard and every pass reception in terms of offensive production from the previous season. That was Duke from last year.
Yeah.
So,
and you know what else too, Mark, is Mike Elko's a hell of a football coach, and he was at Notre Dame. Everybody respects him, and also off the field, he's a good guy. That's a guy everybody wants to succeed, just not tomorrow night.
When you take a roster that had lost 17 of 18 games in the ACC, and most of those in embarrassing fashion, and you immediately turn that around to a 9-4 team that wins a bowl game, does not lose a game by more than one score. That's all coaching. Like, he's taken the same roster, and that's just incredible what he's done. It's the best coaching job in America by far.
Yeah.
Well, Don, I don't want to keep you up.
Hey, Mark.
I know you got people.
Mark, I appreciate it. And I wouldn't have made you have to donate, man. I just didn't know your name, and it doesn't have your name popping up on your number. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made you do that, man. I'll hit you back. I didn't mean to make you do that. But hey,
it's my pleasure, man.
Hey, I really appreciate you jumping in, and as somebody who does this, I understand and respect the work you put in. I know what it takes to make this get off the ground and keep it going, man.
Absolutely, John.
That being said, Mark, you know my people are still going to be mad at you, but that's the way it goes. You're just going to have to accept that,
no
man.
doubt.
You're just going to have to take it. Have a good weekend, man. Enjoy the football tomorrow. I'm sure you'll have a busy day.
All right, John. Absolutely. Have a good one, man.
Thanks a lot, man. Really appreciate it. Man, you guys are brutal. Like, I understand you don't like what the guy's saying, but he's like kind of a colleague in the business I'm in. And I'm going to have a respect for Mark no matter what, because he's in my business. He does the same stuff I do. Like, there's a lot of overlap there. All right. I need a 2-minute bathroom break, timeout, probably not even 2 minutes. And then I'll be right back. We'll take another bank of calls, and that'll be it. Okay. You guys are rough. Like, I get it. You don't like what he says about Notre Dame. He's a good guy, and he's a hardworking guy on YouTube. I respect that. I don't have to agree with everything he says, but I respect his work ethic and position on YouTube in college football. I'll be back. Entertain yourselves for a minute. Oh, boy. What did I miss? Stadium Pal? Yeah, I need the Whizzinator, bro. That's what I need, the Whizzinator. I need one of those like tubes in a bucket where I could just go right here. Try not to make a dumb face. Yeah, that'd be great. Oh, man. That's funny. 407. What's going on tonight? Happy Friday.
John, how are you doing?
I'm okay, man. I'm ready to win a football game. Get the bad taste out of my mouth. I'm ready for that.
All right, so I gotta give you some backstory to this. You've ever seen the movie Moneyball?
Yes, I have.
Do you remember when they do the analogy of that fat guy, hitting that ball, thinking that, he just dives for first base, not knowing that he made a home run?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I look at this game, listen, man, 4 minutes left. I'm dancing. My dog's running in circles. After the game, my wife gets in bed trying to touch me, and I'm in the fetal position crying. And it wasn't until about 24 hours later that I sat back and I was like, you know what? Like, yeah, we lost. It's shitty. We didn't close at the end of the day. But, like, let's be real here. Like, there was a lot that we proved on that stage. Now, given, like, I'm not the optimistic kind of guy, but I want to know your take on that. The elite, can we hang with these people? Like, do you truly
wait, time out. You do realize how funny what you just said is, right? Like, do you realize that, like, the chat right now is like, wait a second, did I hear that right? Like, we're all picturing it in your mind. And your wife's like, oh, hey, it's Saturday night. What's up? And you're just like crying. You're like, leave me alone. It's a funny image.
100%. And I'm not exaggerating. She put her hand on my shoulder and I said, not now.
I'm just glad you said shoulder. Just glad you said shoulder.
I literally put your show on and she's like, oh, this guy? And I'm like, oh, yes, this guy.
Tell you what.
That totally happened.
Tell you what. You put my show on, she won't be touching nothing. She'll be running out of the door, buddy. You put me on for 2 minutes, and then I'm telling you what. It is like the anti of all that. But the way that call started was hilarious. It was genuinely hilarious, okay? That being said, at Adam, I'm responding. I know I didn't leave the basement for 3 days, but I'm just saying it. The wife part made it funnier. That's what I'm saying. I didn't leave the basement for 3 days. Like,
so let me ask you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Breaking this down, John. Like, listen, I watch a lot of analysts for Notre Dame. Like, I grew up watching Notre Dame. Like, I bleed gold and blue, but I'm also a realist, right?
Yeah.
Do you think if you look at that game, maybe it showed to the world that we're capable?
Yes. And that's why I'm so frustrated we didn't pull it off. Yes. That's the whole point, man. That's the thesis. Yes. So the problem problem is last year was the year where you're like, okay, it's year one of Marcus. Let's see if we can hang. And we hung in with Ohio State, but we lost. Everybody understood it, whatever. Now was the one where you're like, dude, win the damn game. For once, you matched up with the team physically in this kind of moment. For once, your head coach got the guys in the right mind frame to go out there and match the intensity of the opponent, unlike the guy that came before this guy, okay? So for once, you had all that, and then you were down there. Just win the damn game. That's why it's so frustrating, because we were in it. We did belong. We physically hung with them. 10 minutes plus more
100%.
of possession. All of that, man. All of that. So it's good and it's bad. It's good because you're not going, are we going to get blown out and lose? Or is it only going to be by like 14 points today? Like, we're over all that. Notre Dame's in these games. The days of Notre Dame getting blown out on the big stage are gone. That's all good. It's just, it was all right in front of you to end it and put a tombstone in the ground, and you didn't do it.
100%. And listen, like, there's this Ohio State fan in my office, and like, he came over to me saying better luck next year on Tuesday. And I looked at him in his eyes and I said, if you talk to me again for, the next 7 days, we're going to have issues. The reality was, like, you know what? Ohio State didn't beat us. We beat us. We beat us. Like, that's the reality. We had, as you said, right after the game, about 10 different incidents where we could have won that game.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you look at that game logically and rationally, and you break it down without the emotions, and then you look at Duke. Duke's got a good quarterback, okay? Clemson sucks this year. But at the reality of this scenario, it is built up a little bit. I don't see any way we lose this game. I don't see any way we don't win by at least 2 touchdowns.
Well,
If
wait.
not,
What do you
we are
mean? What do you
literally-
mean you see no way?
sorry.
See a way. I see a way. It's called
No.
everybody, all the people on the team feel like I've felt all week, and they go out there and they're half dead because they're depressed. That's the way. Like, I see a way.
Right.
If those guys play the way I feel, we're screwed tomorrow night. So I pray
So let me
that
ask
they're
you
a
this,
lot.
John.
They
Let me
got to
ask
be
you
a
this.
lot more emotionally intelligent than I am, because I have handled this like
Sure.
shit. Like shit. I am
But-
embarrassed at how I handled this.
Okay, fair. But John, when you get on the TV, when you're upset about something or you're emotional, it's the reason I freaking watch you, bro. Your anger and your emotion comes through. And especially when you are winging it and it's just right off the top of the skull, you're never better, you know? And I can just tell you that I feel that from what I've seen so far this season, hey, could be wrong, but it seems more like a higher percentage that they're going to channel this into showing the world who they are, you know? Now, given, hey, I could be wrong. I'm positive I'm not, truthfully. I'm
Yeah.
positive I'm not, you know? Our talent, every aspect of this game favors us. I just, you know, I think it'll be close in the beginning. Halftime, we're going to pull away.
You could say, now wait, hold
the
on.
reality-
Time out. You could say like Notre Dame's roster's way better, like recruiting, whatever. And I agree with you.
Right.
However, like if you want to go by that on the paper favors Notre Dame. Everything off paper favors Duke. In the inverse way, we had all the momentum going into Ohio State. They're the undefeated ones. They have the upset in their back pocket already. They have game day coming, which never happens for a basketball school. They have the night game. Like, all of the off the paper stuff favors them in the same way I was saying all the off the paper stuff favored us last week. So there is an interesting dynamic, man. Think about it. You have game day tomorrow at Duke. What Notre Dame fan wants to get up before the sun comes up to wave a Notre Dame flag after what happened last week? I don't think a lot of people are in the mood. So all the off the field stuff benefits them. It's up to us to go, we're done with this losing bullshit, and we're just going to pound you and win and move on. That's what needs to happen.
I completely agree. But I also look at the fact, I know it was Navy, but going to another country in the first game of the season before anybody's playing to play a triple offense, I mean, and the way they handled that, the way they handled NC State after the, weather break, like it shows me the resilience of this team is what I'm getting at.
Well,
but you're right. No, I could be absolutely
listen.
wrong. Last question, because dude, I don't want to keep you on the phone too long.
Sure.
But let me ask you a question, and I want your true, honest opinion of this. I don't want your emotions involved. I want the logical job.
Oh, that's good, because I'm so good at just keeping the emotions out of everything, right? Yeah. That's a strong suit of mine. Everybody's always said, John, you know what you're good at? Thinking logically with no emotion involved on your channel. Yeah, buddy, that's what I'm known for. Let it rip. Good one.
Okay.
You're hilarious.
So let's
good
say
one,
this.
bud.
Let's say we run the table. All right, we beat, this team, in Louisville, USC,
Clemson.
Clemson.
Mark
we
it
beat them
down.
all,
Uh-huh.
and we get to the end.
Mm-hmm.
do you truly believe the committee will sit back and go, Notre Dame has one loss, and this was by 1 inch, 1 second at the end to steal the game? They deserve to be in it. Thoughts?
It totally depends on what everybody else does. Like, I can't answer if 11-1 is good enough before I know what everybody else is doing. There's no way for me to answer that. You can't have, if Notre Dame goes 11-1, it's about as strong of an 11-1 as you're going to get. You're going to have, some good teams on there. 1 inch loss to Ohio State, which everybody respects, all that stuff. Like, 11-1 is going to be really solid. I just need to know what else happens. Think about Ohio State and Michigan. If Ohio State and Michigan both are undefeated going into the last week, there is a possibility both of them take up half the playoff spots. Think about it. If they're both undefeated and one of them loses and it's only to the other one, I could see them putting both of them in. And then where does that leave us? So I don't know, man. It's going to be
how's Penn State's strength of schedule?
Hey, Penn State is, until further notice, Penn State is Brian Kelly, Notre Dame. Not elite recruiting, but pretty. No, hear me out. Hear me out. I mean it. I'm not even joking. He is Brian.
I don't like him.
Penn State is Brian Kelly, Notre Dame. Follow me or tell me where I'm wrong. Really good, but not elite recruiting, but really good, but not elite. They're going to beat most of the teams they should beat, and then they're going to let you down in the biggest games of the year in the biggest moment. That has been what Penn State has been lately, and that is what Kelly ended up with at Notre Dame. Until I'm proven otherwise, that's what they are to me. They're going to be 10-2, something like that, really strong. But until they beat Michigan and Ohio State, I got them down as not beating Michigan and Ohio State.
Okay.
So I don't know, man. I got to see what's going to happen. Now, the big thing about going 11-1 is you would be knocking out probably the Pac-12 champ. That's the biggest deal because you would, if you go 11-1, you're beating USC. I anticipate them winning the Pac-12. You would have that over them. You could knock them out unless Washington, they look good now, unless Washington's legit or something like that. But I don't know, man. And if we let me give you this. Here's John being positive. If we went 11-1 and missed it, if we went 11-1 and missed the playoff, you would be frustrated because you missed the playoff by a half an inch, literally. However, big picture, that would be an amazing sign of where Freeman and Notre Dame's heading. So as you're transitioning into the expanded playoff, yes, it would be devastating to miss the playoff by half an inch. Big picture, if this all turns into 11-1, Notre Dame's in great shape for the modern playoff era. So look at it that way. We're going to be mad, but look at it that way.
John, it's a pleasure, my friend. And as always, this is the first time I called in. I've been listening to you for, fucking years, bro. So I just want to say thank you for all that you do for the Irish. And you have a great night, and I'll continue to watch you, man.
Thanks a lot. Save the number. Call me again, man. Good call. Thank you. I like having first-time callers, man. Save the number. Call me again.
You got it, brother.
Have a good weekend, man. Enjoy the ball game. Why are we talking about the CFP? Because this is a college football show. That's why. Dude, I don't know, 11-1. Like, I got to worry about Duke here and the Fighting Coach K's, the Fighting Elcos, before I worry anything about the playoff. But the question got asked. Kenny Powers over here likes to troll me. If you're going to troll me, at least donate money. I mean, this dude keeps giving me money to make fun of Notre Dame, and I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm not going to freak out. But if you want to pay me to make fun of me, trying to trigger me, but it isn't going to work. I'm triggered out. Okay? I'm triggered out. Long last week. I'm triggered out, bro. I don't know what you could type in here to trigger me anything more than what I've had in the tank the last week. Playoffs? You want to talk about playoffs? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Oh, man. Yeah, but if you're going to make fun of Notre Dame and make fun of me, at least donate me money, Kenny. Like, I'm fine with it. Go ahead, dude. I'm fine with that. Oh, man, bro. Like, I just don't, dude, I am exhausted. I am emotionally drained, and I have nothing left in the tank. It's been the longest week of my adult life. Kidding me? Oh, man. Rough times in Notre Dame land, people. Rough times. 269, you're up on the line. What's going on?
How's it going, John?
It's going okay. I am excited to get back on the field and win a football game. It'd make me feel better.
I know. That was kind of my question. I mean, what's it going to take for us to get over this feeling of this 1-inch loss? I mean, we beat Duke. We beat them by a lot. I mean, I'm still going to be upset about this loss. Is it going to be beating USC? But, I mean, we've done that. It was like this Ohio State was finally going to be something different that we haven't done in such a long time.
Yep. It is. The way I'm looking at it is I'm trying to – tomorrow's a big night. And the microscope is zoomed in on the Notre Dame coaching staff in a major way because of how that game ended last week. So the microscope is zoomed in on them. Nobody has any patience for any problems, any issues at all. And it's just a matter of getting a win, steadying the seas. Like, there's nothing we could do to change the Ohio State result, but you can make it a lot worse by letting that one loss turn into two. So I need them to win, calm the seas. But I'm with you, man. I'm with you. We have needed that kind of win for 25 years. We had 12 different chances to seal it, and we didn't. And that is very upsetting. And it's not going to go away until Freeman wins one of that stature. That's all.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's like we have the best offensive line maybe in the country, they say, but I mean, you can't get one first down when it matters. That's what I was upset about. I mean, run the ball and get the first down. Don't be trying screen passes and getting fancy. Get us our first down and run that clock out.
I feel like Parker outthought himself. I think he got a little too cute and they overthought it. And I hope they learned from it. I have no idea how you have Audric Estime on your team and don't go to him in that moment. I just don't get it. I don't understand. I'll never understand how he's not the guy you ride at the end to run out the game. That's what he's built for. You ever seen the movie Rudy? God made certain people to be football players, and I'm not one of them. God made Audric Estime to run out the clock at the end of the game. Give the guy the ball.
Exactly.
Give him the ball.
Yeah,
God made his body for that exact moment. Give him the ball.
Literally 235 pounds of pure muscle. Let him run and go behind the best offensive line and get us that win. Ah, man, it gets me fired up hearing you. And just thinking about it,
dude.
Man.
That was it, man. Like, yeah, of course, Angela Rudiger. Rudy, good movie. Yeah, you were in it. Are you getting any? Is she getting any royalties? She was actually in the filming of the movie. Anyways, yeah, dude, I don't understand that. I'll never understand that. On my deathbed, whenever that is, if Notre Dame keeps doing this, it might be soon. On my deathbed, my last words are just going to be, why didn't you hand it off to Estime, bro? Like, it's never going to leave me. It's never going to make sense. And I'm just mad about it. That's all.
I agree, John. Well, it was great getting the chance to talk to you, and hopefully we go out and kick some butt tomorrow.
Hey, that's the only thing you could do to feel better is win a game, and it'll be a palate cleanser. We'll all feel better. And then you get ready for Louisville, and then we have USC. There's a lot going on here, but you got to win tomorrow to save the season. That's plain and simple. You got to win tomorrow to salvage anything. That's it.
Yep, I agree. Totally.
Have a good one, man. Enjoy the weekend.
You too. Will do.
See ya. Who's your daddy? Dude, answer me, John. Bro, what do you think your number pops up as who's your daddy? Bro, some of you got to get real and figure out how this shit works. Do you think that if your random number that doesn't show your name, what do you think it's going to say on my call-in software? Who's your daddy? Like, I don't know what you guys think. I'm a mind reader. Mr. Notre Dame, Jack Sacco is on the air. Notre Dame alum, world famous producer, world famous author, world famous composer. Jack, what's going on, man? You're Notre Dame's own.
Oh my God. World famous. Jeez.
You are, Jack. You're a big shot. You're a Hollywood guy, Jack. You're a big shot now, bud. You're a big shot.
I went to a party once. A friend of mine picked me up, and I was home alone, and my friend picked me up and said, "We're going to the party." It was in Los Angeles, and he said to me, "You're going to be the most famous person at this party. You're going to be the most famous person in the room." And I said, "You know what? I was the most famous person in the room. I just left because I was alone.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I have to go here, but in any event, I'll tell you. I don't know if your listeners have heard the news. It's the FDA just came out with an announcement. They approved the Always Irish podcast as a safe and a very effective form of contraception.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet. I can see that.
I think.
Yeah, listen,
I
Jack.
think they're going to start promoting that.
Hey, nobody's turning my show on to set the mood after a nice date. Okay, I think we can all agree on that. All right, I'm not setting any moods. I'm not setting the mood. Okay,
it sets the mood, but not that mood.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a different mood.
Yeah.
Oh
Jack.
my God.
Now, Jack, I
have no words of wisdom for you. By the way, I have no words of wisdom.
Jack, let me set this up. Jack's a longtime guy, Notre Dame alum, involved in every way you could be. And Jack, it's been a long week. You and I talked on the phone a couple days ago, or maybe it was yesterday. My days are mixed up. The best thing Notre Dame could do right now is take out all of their anger on Duke and prove that we are a good team and just beat the hell out of them tomorrow and then trend up to not Ohio State, to USC. There's nothing else we could do. Right. They just can't let one loss turn into two. Do you think they're going to have the right mind frame tomorrow night at Duke?
Well, I think they will. I mean, I hope they will. That's all a matter of coaching. That's all a matter of, we're going to find out over the next 3 weeks, but we're going to find out one day at a time, which is one game at a time. I mean, and that starts tomorrow. All about Marcus Freeman and his ability, because a good coach is going to create champions. And a champion isn't a guy who doesn't get knocked down. He's the guy who just gets up one more time. You don't have to get up 10 more times and you get knocked down. You just have to get up one more time. And so in this case, I have, and you know, I was never a fan of your buddy, Mr. Kelly, the Swamp Meister.
Yeah, he loves me. Yeah, me and him are best friends, man. Yeah. I text him all the time. I know you two are tight. So we're tight. Yeah.
So I never wanted to say anything really negative about him, because out of respect for you. But the truth is that I saw him do this in games. One thing would go wrong and the whole team would spiral out of control. And he did this over and over when he was actually paying attention to what was going on the field and not trying to get another job somewhere else. So my hope is that after 30-something years of dud coaches, that we found Marcus Freeman, and that Marcus Freeman is going to say, okay, now we had this situation, these things happened. And I did hear from Marcus that he had a talk with the coaches
after the game. A serious, as I said to you, come to Jesus meeting with them. And, I say this all the time in production, in doing film production and movies and anything like that, television production, which I'm involved in now. Things will get out of control. They always do. They always will. Not they might. They will get out of control. And what I always tell people is that, people working for me is that when it happens, there's two things to do. First, solve the problem. Make sure that you win the down, if you will, and win the game. And then afterwards, point the finger at yourself and say, what could I have done to have made this, to have prevented this from happening? So what I'm hoping is that the Notre Dame team has done that this week. And that's what champions do. Now, if they're not champions, if they're just chumps, like the Kelly teams were, and I'm not talking about the players, I'm talking about the coaches, then they'll just continue to mediocre their way through the season and get beat. Because, I said this right after the game. I put it on Twitter or whatever they call Twitter now, is that the first thing you have to do in Notre Dame's case, you got to learn how to stop losing. And Notre Dame did, like you said, 12 or 13 things in a row that all were sort of unlikely, and they did them all exactly in sequence. And if they had done one of those things differently, they would have won the game. So, I mean, if Freeman had tripped and fallen instead of trying to throw that screen pass, or decided not to throw it and taken the sack, we would have been better off. We might have won the game. So a lot of things had to happen for us to lose, and they happened. But I come from the point of view of, well, if they happen, then the team, allowed them to happen. The coaches allowed them to happen. So we're going to see tomorrow what this team is actually made of.
Yeah.
I'm very optimistic.
Yeah.
So
now, Jack,
we'll go from there. We'll see.
Do you agree with me on this part? Yes, the ultimate result was what we're used to over the last 20, 25 years, a loss at the end of a game of a big moment and a big opportunity. However, if you're able to calm the emotions down a little bit, which has taken me a full week to do, by the way, and I'm open and honest about that, you can see the differences in this team, how they carry themselves, how they play, the fire they come out with in a big moment, a heavier rotation, more depth, younger guys getting to play and that can perform in a big moment. Those are all really good signs overall. It's just the way this ended isn't going to go away. Like, it doesn't change that Notre Dame's trending in the right direction overall with talent and all that stuff. It's just the way this ended in the coaching mistakes. It won't go away. And the only way you outdo that is win, win, win. That's the only thing that helps it go away. Win, 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 win.
The only thing that you're right, and the only thing that actually makes it really go away is to win a national championship.
Yeah.
I know this because I've seen this. I've experienced this multiple times, and I want you to experience this. I want a lot of the people who've never experienced this to experience it, because I'm telling you, and your father knows this. Other people my age know this. There is nothing like it. You can't describe what that feels like. When I was a senior at Notre Dame, and by the way, I was at the Rudy game, at the real Rudy game. I was a sophomore there, but in '77, we had Joe Montana, we had the green jersey game, we won the national championship. But a lot of people, we kind of went out of our memory that we lost the second game of the season to Ole Miss, and it was just a pathetic game plan and all the way around, but we lost that game. But we won the national championship that year. So, and we dominated everybody else, once Joe Montana got in there. But it was a palate cleanser, to do that. So I've never gone back. Although I was talking to Craig earlier this, and you also, just saying that I remember, I don't know how this makes me. It makes me sound kind of like you in that I remember every loss Notre Dame has ever had. I remember every play that could have won the game. They don't go away.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away. But if you win a championship, it kind of does go away.
Yeah, well, I'm happy for you guys of your age. You guys like you and my dad that have seen it. Jack, let me ask you this: you're a longtime Notre Dame guy. You've seen a lot of good. You've seen a lot of bad. You were a student there, had a championship on your belt, all of that stuff. Let me ask you this:
right.
What do you think is the biggest factor that determines a Notre Dame coach getting over the hump and making it work at Notre Dame or not? Your life specifically, you have seen the high ends of this and you've seen the bottoms where guys just bail. It just burns out. What do you think, seeing all these decades in Notre Dame football, what is the difference that makes the guys that succeed at Notre Dame succeed and the guys that don't? What do you think it is?
Okay, my experience, and I guess there are a lot of ways one could answer that question, but the first thing that jumps to my mind is the coach at Notre Dame has to absolutely love Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Has to be 100% about Notre Dame.
Man, I kind of figured that's where you were going. I didn't want to lead you there. I didn't want to drop a hint. I get it. Jack, you look at
Eric Harsigan.
It's gotta be about Notre Dame more than your dumb ego. That's what it comes down to me, Jack. You got to understand the spirit of Notre Dame is more important than your ego, or you have no chance to succeed at Notre Dame. I believe that.
That's right. Because in truth, in life, in every form of life, and every passion, and everything that you try to accomplish, in every walk, your ego is the same size as your blind spot. And if you have a blind spot, I mean, that big, you take Kelly, for example, he was all about Kelly. Now I go back to Eric Harsigan. I had met him several times. He was the coach when I first arrived at Notre Dame the first year. And he and I watched a game together. We watched the Notre Dame game together. It was,
you and Era did?
We watched the game together. It was let me see what year it was, 1978 college football season. I just graduated. I was back here and I was in Alabama where I grew up, and I had met him a couple of times, and he came to town, and I actually went down to the hotel where he was staying and just to say hello to him. And he invited, believe it or not, me to come sit in the booth with him. He and Keith Jackson were going to announce the Alabama Southern Cal game that Saturday. And so he said, "You coming to the game Saturday?" And I said, "Oh no, Coach, no, I'm not." He said, "Well, why don't you come?" And he gave me a pass to come sit in the booth. He said, "Just sit in the booth with us." So I sat in the booth with Era Parson and Keith Jackson. It was a doubleheader, and the game before, because back then there were only like ABC and CBS and NBC. There was only like one or two games a week. This particular week, it was on ABC, and Notre Dame and Michigan played the first game, and then afterwards it was Alabama USC. And so Era and Keith were doing the Alabama USC game. I sat in the booth. I went early to a place called Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. Sat in the booth with them, and it was just the two. They brought a TV for the first game and set it. They didn't have big monitors and flat screens back then. They had these old TVs on the little thing like the teacher used to roll into the classroom so you could watch a film or something. So and so they set that up, and they put up a couple of folding chairs, and Era and I sat next to each other and watched the Notre Dame Michigan game from Notre Dame Stadium, which Notre Dame lost, by the way, and I still feel that pain, 28-14. But Era was screaming at the TV the whole time, and yelling at Dan Devine, who was the coach. And then we went on after that, and I sat actually right beside Era during the broadcast of the Alabama USC game later, which, by the way, USC won that game, but Alabama still claimed the national championship that year, but over USC. Yeah, so I got to do that. But this man loved Notre Dame. And he and I would talk to that. He loved Notre Dame, you know. And Dan Devine came in after him. I don't know how much Dan Devine loved Notre Dame. I think Dan Devine was. I'm actually in the process of writing a book about Dan Devine and his team, because I know a lot of his team very, very well. And there's some hilarious, interesting, very unknown stories about Dan Devine that are going to come out in this new book that I'm writing with the players. And people are going to be very surprised. But these guys basically won the national championship despite Dan Devine.
They used to give him a play, and Montana would go, "Oh, we got the play from him. Screw him. We're doing what we want. Let's run it."
Yeah. Yeah, and people would say Montana was a bad, you know, like we were like, why was not Montana starting? And say people would say, well, he was a bad, you know, practice. Well, what he would do is in practice until, you know, Devine would tell him to do something, and he'd just say, F you, buddy.
Yeah,
he'd just walk off.
Yeah,
you know,
and just do his own thing.
So
and who was Devine to complain once it worked out? He ended up looking good, right?
It would work.
Yeah.
So we had so many Dan Devine stories. They are absolutely hilarious. And by the way, there was a kid who wasn't on the team, but he was the son of one of the assistant coaches. He hung out with the team, like a 10 or 12-year-old kid who played all type of tricks on everybody, including Dan Devine. And that little kid is named John Gruden. So,
that's interesting.
You know, there's a lot of
that's a little interesting.
There's a lot of history. There's a lot of history on that team that we're gonna talk about, because that team people don't really talk about that team that much, you know. But that's the team that lost to Mississippi and then went on to win the national championship, green jerseys and all that. Then there was nothing. I mean, Jerry Faust loved Notre Dame, and honest to God, Notre Dame. Jerry Faust was a high school football coach, and Notre Dame had probably one of the best high school football teams in the country while Jerry Faust was there.
It's a great way to put it. That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. We were one of the top high school programs in the country during those years. But then Lou Holtz came in, and Lou Holtz absolutely loved Notre Dame. You know, I talked to Coach Holtz last week, and I said to him, "Hey, Coach, I want to thank you for all you've done for Notre Dame." And I tweeted this, and he said, "Jack, I could never repay all that Notre Dame has done for me." Yeah. And but he absolutely loves Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Loves
and
Notre
Jack,
Dame.
Jack, I see that in Marcus. I see Marcus too. He puts the spirit and values of Notre Dame's mission ahead of his own ego. He has taken multiple bullets on behalf of the administration and his staff, all because he knows it's the right thing to do. I believe in Marcus. I'm extremely bitter and hurt and disappointed about the mistakes the staff made last week. However, I believe in Marcus, and I just do. It's in my heart, and I feel Notre Dame. I don't think Notre Dame. I feel Notre Dame. I believe in Marcus. I think he is the type of guy, Jack, that will be able to process this and benefit from it and not let it bring him down. I'm telling you, I believe in the guy. I do. And if I look like an idiot, I look like an idiot, but I believe in the guy.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. And I'll tell you something else. Adjacent to that is that the administration, people in the administration, and I know them. This is not just me. Having read something, I've talked to these people. They love Marcus too. Yep. And it's because of his genuine love for Notre Dame, and he's a genuine person. I can tell you, and I'm not going to name any names.
Well, hey, Jack, you and I met with these people, Jack.
That's right.
I know. Jack and I went to Notre Dame in August and spent a couple days there. We met with a lot of these people. We met with some administrative folks, and their faces lighted up when you said, well, how do you like working with Marcus? It's very great. It's just great to see, man.
Right. So, working with the administration at Notre Dame is different than other places. And, sometimes I use the word collars, you're working with the collars, but the administration in general, it's a little bit different than working everywhere else. However, one of the things, once again, not naming any names, but you met some of the people.
Yeah.
They didn't really care for Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
And why? I agree with them, and not simply because Brian Kelly's football lack of prowess or whatever you want to call it, but Brian Kelly's ego, and Brian Kelly's ego turned people off.
Yep.
Even people who were friends of his for years and tried to be friends with him, he turned them all off.
Yeah.
Even his own team, he turned around and walked away from them. It was a happy day in my life when he left. But Marcus comes across different, and working with the administration can sometimes be a bit like a brick wall, I would think. Frank Leahy went through it, but Newt Rodney went through it. However, with Marcus, I think he'll find it different because they like him so much, and he loves Notre Dame, and they know that there's not that situation. And I think, honest to God, Marcus is going to be he's already a really, really good coach. He's been doing it this is his second year, if I'm correct. He's being a head coach.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a great coach. We want to keep him at Notre Dame. We want to keep winning. We want to eliminate whatever mistakes and win. And when we start doing that? Tomorrow.
There you go. There you go, man. Jack, yeah, it's a big moment for Marcus, and I think he's going to get those guys in the right mind space to perform tomorrow night. They understand the moment, and they just need to get right and level things out. And I'm excited for that, man. But I know, how were you handling the week? I was not in a good place. How did you navigate the week? You were at the game. You and your brother were there. How did you navigate?
I was at the game. Oh my God.
How did you navigate the emotions after the game, Jack? Tell me. You're a veteran. You have more experience with this than me on the good and the bad. How did you navigate your emotions this week? Tell me.
Yeah, I have to tell you, it was like, I heard Dr. John talking about this. Like, I've been through so many games and ups and downs that you learn how to handle it a little better. It hurts just the same, but you've experienced, you know that you've lived through it, you've survived it.
Yeah.
I guess that gives you some courage. But being at the game, and I may have told you this when we spoke this week, that game, I was at the 93 Boston College game. And this game has, it has some similarities to that game and to the Bush Push game. And, especially right at the very end when there was that unbelievable the interception that should have been an interception, and it went right through the hands. I turned to my brother at that point and I said, I hope this doesn't come back to haunt us like it did in that 93 game. And sure enough, it did. And then the final play, so to speak, when they scored, and then just that silence in the place. It was shocking. I felt it before. The week was difficult. I have to say I was in physical pain. I don't know how much of that was the game or the fact that I'd fallen off a ladder on Thursday. Falling off the ladder
could have been both. Yeah, could have been both.
It was both.
Yeah.
It was both because I was so tense. I was so tensed up, and then I was so angry. And then I went back to, where I was staying, and I said, I can't deal with it. And so fortunately I turned on your show. You were still on after the game. And like some of all the callers have said, thank you so much for doing that, because we need that. And I'll tell you something else. And I mentioned this to you on the phone. I want other people to know it. Former players, and a lot of my friends are former players, from different championship teams and different teams throughout the years. And for the most part, that's the way the players think. They think emotionally about these things, not just, that guy should have been in such a different stance, or he should have played 2 yards off the ball. Like, no, they know that stuff, the X's and O's. They think emotionally, and you bring that to people, and that's what we need to hear. We have needed you this week, and thank God you've been there.
Hey, Jack, that means a lot to me, man. It was the most painful, miserable experience of my life, but it needed to be done, and I was not going to be the guy who has this show and I'm always want to go live. And then right when it doesn't go Notre Dame's way, John's nowhere to be seen. That would have been a weak look. And I'm glad I did it, although I was completely miserable during it. Jack, give us some wisdom on the way out.
During it.
Oh, I was totally miserable.
I'm sorry.
Totally complete.
You were miserable. You were miserable all week. Even when I talked to you on the phone, whatever day it was, you were like mumbling, incoherent,
delusional, just out of my mind, zombie all week. Just a zombie. I was out of my mind. So,
and
Jack,
thank God we have a game tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
Thank God we have a game tomorrow, as opposed to like a week off or something.
Jack, we need to get this win. I don't care by how much. Get the win, and then it's a little steady the seas, beat the hell out of Louisville, and then we build up the USC ramp up, and all that's going to be. But man, Jack, I really appreciate your friendship. I appreciate your Notre Dame history. And you and I are going to put together some stuff to be able to present on this YouTube channel coming up. Jack and I have,
it's going to be nice.
Yeah. Jack and I have some plans, and we have some content. We're going to Notre Dame stuff we're going to put together. But we'll get into that probably in the off season, but, Jack, I really appreciate your historical perspective and more than that, just your friendship, man. You're a loyal Notre Dame guy, and I love you for it, Jack.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And keep going. Keep doing everything you're doing. We're going to be winning. As I always say, go Irish now and forever.
There you go, man. Jack, I love you. You're a great guy, one of my closest real-life friends now, and I never would have met you if it's not for this show, me yelling about football. So thanks a lot, Jack. Have a good night, man.
Okay. Thanks, John.
Take care. Telling you, those commercials, the most interesting man in the world? That's Jack. Jack is literally the most interesting guy I know. Like, he knows everything about everything. He knows everybody who knows everything. Like, you wouldn't believe it. Oh, John, what was O.J. Simpson like right when that murder happened? Oh, I don't know. Ask Jack Sacco, who was riding around in his car. Like, bro, when I say this dude is involved in everything, this dude's involved in everything. Like, it's amazing. He's a Hollywood guy, got a place in LA, doing Hollywood producing stuff, got a place down south too. This dude is all over, man. I love that guy. We have become close. When he goes, John, you want to go to Notre Dame and go hang out for a day? I don't ask no questions. I go with Jack. And I just let the doors open, and then I just act like I belong. It's amazing. It's amazing. Okay, 954, you've been waiting. And by the way, 954, hold on a second, 954. Kent, that's the winner of the night, bro. Kent add the 954, tell Marcus Freeman he needs one more. Kent, you can't do any better than that. You win the night. Like, I'll give it to you, Kent. You win the night. 954, tell Freeman he needs one more is beautiful, and it makes me sad, and I want to cry, and I am depressed, but that is hilarious. And Kent, you won the night. Good job, buddy. 954, what up with it?
Hey, John. How's it going, man?
I'm doing okay, man. I'm ready for Notre Dame to get another win so I could go back to feeling kind of normal.
Good to hear from you. First time calling, man. I just wanted to say, I'm going to keep my voice a little low because I got a 5-month-old sleeping in the other room, but I'll do my best.
That's okay, man. Thanks.
Last Saturday was very bittersweet for me, man. Very bittersweet. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you like a brief backstory here.
Okay.
My great-grandfather, he was a sniper for the IRA, right? Leaves Ireland because the British Army was after him. moves to New York, has my grandfather. My grandfather fights in World War II, goes to Puerto Rico, finds a wife, has a son, and that's my father. And I was born in Puerto Rico, and from there we moved to Florida, and now I'm here. And I'll tell you, man, if it wasn't for my grandfather was the biggest Irish Notre Dame fan like you've ever met, like apart from you, man, obviously, but he was a huge Notre Dame fan. And ever since I was little, we would watch all the games together. He got me into college football. The only thing, and what I say is that last week was bittersweet for me, is that my dad out of Puerto Rico went to Ohio State, and he drilled Ohio State into me, and I'm just a huge fan of both teams. I ended up going to Ohio State, and it brought these games that have been happening over the years, brought back so many memories of watching those Notre Dame games with my grandfather. And he passed away in 2015, but
Man, that's like, just a lot overlap. Like that's just a lot all at once. You know what I mean? Like how that all weaves together. It's just, that's a lot to navigate. So where did that leave you at by the time it was all over? Where did that leave you?
By the time the game was over,
yeah.
the both games?
Yeah.
It's bittersweet, man, because I poured one out for my grandfather, and I was like, these games are amazing. This is I'm inside. I'm sad that the game came out the way it did, but since my father and we both went to Ohio State, it was bittersweet. It was very confusing. Like wow, like what a ball game. And to tell you, man, Notre Dame has one hell of a ball club. They are very good this year. Very, very good. And I'm telling you that you don't need to worry. I wouldn't worry too much about Duke at all. Duke, I mean, I think it's going to start off sluggish maybe, but Notre Dame gets off because Duke beat Clemson, but they beat Clemson because their quarterback and their team, they threw how many turnovers? 5, 6 turnovers? All their points based off Clemson turnover. And Notre Dame does not turn the ball over, John. Notre Dame does not turn the ball over. They have one hell of an offensive line. That game was amazing to watch. I thought Ohio State lost that game. And I'm telling you right now that you don't need to worry about Duke, man. Duke, Notre Dame's you're gonna have a win tomorrow.
Well, wait, man. The problem isn't the physical. Like, if I look at the rosters, Notre Dame should be able to win the game 10 times out of 10.
Absolutely.
What I'm more concerned about is that they don't have the hangover I've had, where you're dragging ass all week and you're miserable and you don't want to talk to anybody and you're an asshole to your friends and your family and you don't want to talk to anybody or do it. Like, if they play the way I felt, they're going to have trouble tomorrow night. But I believe Notre Dame's players are more emotionally resilient than I am. And I think they're going to go out there, channel their anger, and just take it out on Duke. And if they don't, that's a whole different problem. But I want them to go in there mad, prove a point, be on a mission, and take care of business.
Absolutely, man. I think they will. I absolutely think they will. I have confidence in Notre Dame, man. I'm telling you, they have a really, really good football team. Really good football team. That Sam, that QB, he doesn't turn the ball over at all, and he's poised. And I really like Marcus Freeman. I followed Marcus Freeman for a while, and Marcus Freeman, that guy has the heart of a lion. He's going to lead you guys where you need to go. And I believe, and this is me, I could be pulling this out of the deepest crevice of my what, but he's going to have those guys set straight. It was his first year last year. Second year, he's got those guys focused. He's got the team that he needs. He's got the right players at each position, and I believe he's going to have those guys focused and angry. Because you're a football player, you have all that pressure on you. Why wouldn't you be angry?
Yeah.
I think Notre Dame's going to have a really good football team this year. And that game last Saturday, as bittersweet as it was for me, because I am also a huge Ohio State fan, it was one hell of a ball game. I was inside. I was like, I wish my grandfather could have seen this game. Man, we would have had a ball watching this game.
Yeah, it was a great game. If you didn't have any emotions tied to it, it was a amazing game. There's nothing better than a big football game where I don't care what happens and it's a great drama-filled game back and forth. There's nothing better than that. But when you have emotion on it, dude, it'll kill you, man. It'll lay you out. It'll lay you out.
I'm telling you, it even for me, like if we had no emotions tied, for God's sake, I blame my grandfather for bringing college football to me. You know, because in Puerto Rico, a lot of people don't watch college football, but I'm telling you, when you have big games like this, maybe it's just me, but I probably go to the bathroom like 12 times during an important game. It's really bad. I'm so invested in this. I get so nervous over these games. It's ridiculous, man. But
hey, man, I'm telling you, bro, I need royalties from Pepto-Bismol, bro. You have no idea. Bro, during football season, I keep Pepto-Bismol in business. I need royalties for that shit. I'm not kidding, man. I got problems. My insides start melting once Notre Dame football starts. I keep that company in business.
Just Rhea dripping down your leg, man.
Oh, number 3. I mean, there's number 1, there's number 2, and when Notre Dame's on, it's number 3 all the way, damn it. And it ain't a pretty picture, bro. It ain't a pretty picture.
It's some nasty shit. Like, I didn't eat anything. I ate clean, but I'm still shitting my pants. It's real bad on football game day, you know?
I'm telling you, dude. It's beautiful, though. It's so beautiful, man. I wouldn't want it any other way. I love Notre Dame messing up my digestive tract. I wouldn't have it any other way, man. You got to have something that hits you that deep. And for me, this is it. Unfortunately, I'm a Notre Dame fan in the window of time where they haven't won diddly poo. And that is what it is. And hopefully we come out of it, man. But dude, I like that story though, man. There's a lot of overlapping and interweaving of all that stuff, and that's what it's all about at the end, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was a pleasure talking to you.
You too, man. Hey, thanks for the call. I really appreciate it. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the games tomorrow, okay? Call again.
Of course, man.
Call again. See
Bye.
you later.
Hey.
Oh man, dude, seriously. Hoosier, it's not working. Whatever you are doing is not working. You want attention, and I'm not giving it to you, and you're acting out. It's like what a third grader does. Like, bro, John's scared to take my calls. Yeah, dude, that's definitely it. That's definitely it. I am scared to talk to you. No, I am not scared to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. Those are very different things. Like, bro, I stream like 20 hours a week. Do you really think I'm scared of anybody that's calling that they might nail me with something I have no comeback for? I'm not a rookie at this, bro. I'm not a rookie at this shit. Come on, man. Oh, man. Oh, give me a break. What is this? What is this? Where'd this person come from? GT, do you like a Lou made your coach cry and act like a weirdo psychopath? Tell me about it, bro. That dude has a personality. He's got a complex. What is this? Klondike bar, whatever it is. Ryan Day's got a complex, you guys. He's got a complex. It's obvious. That dude's got a complex going on where I think it's Harbaugh that's in his head, but then it got like redirected with what Lou said. There is something there where Ryan Day has like this inferiority thing. And then when he won the game, he had to like go the other way to compensate. There's like a compensation thing. Hoosier. I'm telling you, dude. John talks, but won't answer my call. I'm going to keep doing that just to make you mad. I'm going to keep doing that just to make you mad. Yeah, why don't you donate? Donate. Give me $5 or $10. I'll put you on the air. Last call tonight. I am not here to be your slave whenever you decide you want to call and troll John. Like, I do what I want. And you're going to sit there. All you do is cause problems every day. Give everybody a hard time. Make fun of me. Make fun of Notre Dame. And then you want to do that? Come on, bro. I've gave you $50. Well, it won tonight, baby. It won tonight, baby. I know that. I've been checking my donations. The one guy, Kenny Powers, kept trolling me in Notre Dame, but he gave me $5 every time. Oh, boy. All right, everybody. That's going to be it for the night. Nick, I'm sorry. I saw you came back around. You were already on once tonight. I'm sorry. But, dude, Hoosier, I ain't in the mood for your shit, bro. I ain't in the mood for you. I don't know which alter ego you are this night. Like, I know you like to change identities. I just don't know which one you are. I don't know whether you're Uncle Luke, Uncle Duke, Brian's Kelly's Jr. I don't know which one you are, man. Look at that. You don't deserve anybody's money tonight. He's mad now. Oh, I love it. That's beautiful. It's hilarious, man. It really is hilarious. I love it when people act like they're going to bully me when I have complete control of what happens or not here, dude. Oh my God, that's funny. I'm going to tell you guys this. I feel better now. I feel better now. I genuinely do. It took me a whole week. It literally took me a whole week. And I'm now at the point where I feel a little better about things. And the only thing that could go wrong is if we lose to Duke, you think last week was bad? Holy shit. Just wait till tomorrow night. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm excited that Notre Dame has a game and they can play and we're going to win and we're going to steady the seas and we're trending up and we're going to have a good call-in show after the game tomorrow. We're all going to be in a good mood, right? Right? I hope so. Today was the first day that I started to feel better about it. So maybe that's a good sign. And then I got to say this. I hate this. Kent was the big winner of the chat tonight. So maybe that's the way it should go. That me and Kent were mad. I was in a bad mood last week and we had an issue and then whatever. He hung up and then he called back and we made up and then we had a good actual football discussion. It was good. All of this shit and all these comments. Kent won the night and I'm mad about it, but I got to give him credit. His chat was hilarious and he won the night. So, Joe, get bent, Kent. I'm telling you guys, I love this show so much. I love all you guys. Even the trolls, man. This is what it's all about. Okay. Everybody, go have a drink. Finish off the night. Go have a cigar. Go smoke you one. Do whatever you need to do. Everybody relax. Get a win tomorrow night. We will go live after the game. We're going to be in a lot better mood than last week, hopefully. And if not, holy shit, I don't want to think about it. And that's what we're going to do. Go Irish. Callers, thank you. Chatters, thank you. Everybody viewing, thank you. All the new subscribers last week. Appreciate all of you. There is none of this without all of you. Everybody, be good, be nice. Have a good night. Have a good one.